3732 or visit www.fsdbk12.org.
Hey folks, Dave Benyon here with Zero Res. I'm here today with my son Ammon. Ammon is the air duct manager for Zero Res. So Ammon, many people may be wondering, why should I get my air ducts cleaned?
Well, there's two good reasons. First is indoor air quality. As we live in our homes, we generate a great deal of air pollutants such as dander, dust, and chemicals. These contaminants are pulled into the HVAC system and are recirculated 5 to 7 times per day. The second reason is that a clean system is much more energy efficient than a dirty one. According to the U.S. Department of Energy, 25 to 40% of the energy used for cooling a home can be wasted. Contaminants in the HVAC system cause it to work harder and shorten its lifespan.
So, what kind of deals are you running?
This month, I'm giving $50 off the air duct cleaning, and if you mention WOKV, I will give you another $50 off the dryer vent cleaning.
Wow, so I can get up to $100 off?
That's right.
Remember folks, Zero Res,
spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
Juice, Mom. Juice, juice, juice.
Mommy, why are we going to the store?
Mom, I want juice.
Mom.
Juice, juice, juice.
Mommy.
Juice, juice, juice.
Mom.
Juice, juice.
Your child will have different needs at different stages of life, and that includes the car seat. That's right, the car seat. A car seat isn't one size fits all. You have to have the right seat based on your child's age, weight, and height. See, car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. But there's a website that gives you all the information you need. safercar.gov/the-right-seat. You'll find out about types of seats, when to have a seat rear-facing, when to switch it to forward-facing, when it's time for a booster seat, and when it's time for your child to ride in the back seat with a seatbelt. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. Go to safercar.gov/the-right-seat. That's safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
It only takes a minute to find out if you may have prediabetes, and you can do it at doihaveprediabetes.org. But you're probably not going to. Nope. I'm sure you've got a perfectly good excuse. Kids, work. I get it. You're busy. So what better time than now? Let's begin. Raise one finger if you're a man. Ladies, none yet. Oh, count in your head if you're driving. Now, 3 more fingers for everyone over 60, 2 over 50, 1 over 40. 1 more if you're not physically active. Another finger if anyone in your family has type 2 diabetes. Another if you've got high blood pressure. If you're overweight, raise another finger. 2 if you're very overweight. And 3 if you're really overweight. You've just taken the world's first audio prediabetes test. And if you're holding up 5 or more fingers, visit doihaveprediabetes.org or talk to your doctor. There's no excuse because prediabetes can be reversed.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its pre-diabetes awareness.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Free agent quarterback Derek Carr has made his decision. ESPN's Diana Rossini is reporting the former Raiders QB is signing with the Saints. Adding a veteran like Carr is a good move for New Orleans, explains ESPN NFL front office insider Louis Riddick.
This is a perfect guy for a guy like Chris Olave to take his game to the next level. This is a perfect guy for a guy like Rashid Shaheed to take his game to the next level. You're talking about 2 second-year players that are dynamic wide receivers that are going to have a guy who's going to be invested, who's going to be there, who knows how to win. I love the fit. He's the best quarterback in the division already.
Carr's deal could potentially be worth up to $150 million over 4 years and could include up to $100 million guaranteed. The Cowboys placed their franchise tag on running back Tony Pollard. If he and the Cowboys can't reach an agreement on a long-term deal by July 15th, Pollard would have to play this season on the tag. The NFL fully reinstated Jaguars receiver Calvin Ridley from his suspension for violating the league's gambling policy. NBA, the Celtics have ruled out Jason Tatum, Al Horford, and Robert Williams tonight versus the Cavaliers.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. Fortunately, Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. It's a good thing, too, because having a home is hard work. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. Geico.com. Easy.
ESPN 690 and Action Sports Shacks presents Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau.
We're going to have to show a little more patience than the year 2 pom-pom people.
Casey Kurtz.
Yo! Well, what are we doing, bro? Come on!
And Aaron Schachter.
I'm all in favor of these two showing their love, really celebrating their relationship. Get him! Get him! Hit him! Hit him! Hit him! Yeah! Boom! Jack! Boom! Yeah! Boom! Jack! Boom!
This is Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau, Casey Kurtz, and Aaron Schachter on Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio, ESPN 690.
Calvin Ridley is free, baby. A little free falling, no more. Free to Jacksonville he is. Reinstated by the NFL. What a big day. That's some good news. Coming down in the last hour, not planned on the rundown, and boom, the lead story. Big time. I love that.
Yeah, man.
That's why I live for this in this business. Throw away the rundown. Rip it up. We're talking Calvin Ridley for 3 hours.
It's funny how it all starts avalanching pretty quickly. Right? Like you see it in the morning, start to trickle out. This guy's being shopped. This guy's going to sign today. This guy's going to get cut. And then boom, 18 things happen.
I got to love it. And it's a good thing for the Jacksonville Jaguars, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I was just putting this together in TV land as well for tonight's show. And, I mean, it's really hard not to look at that roster of offensive players and be like, wow, this is pretty good. I mean, Doug Peterson calling the plays we saw last year, he's really good. I don't know if brilliant's the right word, but at times it felt brilliant. I really enjoyed watching him call plays and what was open and what worked. And sure, there are always going to be plays that you'd like back. But overall, I thought Doug was really good, and you saw the offense evolve, and obviously Trevor got better. Then you have Trevor going into year 2 of Doug, which he has preached, Doug has, about year 2 in the same system is massive. Well, all these guys get year 2 in the same system. ETN, they bring back JaMychal Hasty. You look at the offensive line, and I love the continuity of the offensive line. Yes, I know Jawan Taylor, which will be a topic today. Will he be here or not? We don't know. But guess what? It's not a bad plan B if he's not here. I like their offensive line. They'll probably add to it in the draft if Taylor is not a part of it. And then they bring back Evan Ingram. News out that it's official now in the franchise tag that the Jags have done that. It was expected. Now will they reach a long-term agreement? But who cares about that part of the conversation for 2023? He's here in 2023. The one thing is they need to build depth in that room. They have to do that. They have to find other folks. But from a starter perspective, Evan Ingram's coming off a fantastic year, and we know in Doug's system, tight ends can do well. And then you replace Marvin Jones, who I love Marvin Jones, so I don't want to sound disrespectful, but he's an older player, and he became more of a role player on this team. You bring in Calvin Ridley, who, again, we don't know exactly what's going to happen. He hasn't played in 2 years by the time they kick footballs off in September, essentially. But he's really good. He's younger, and he's better than Marvin Jones, really. Like, at his peak, he's better than Marvin Jones. That's just a fact. So what will he be? He could be a bona fide number 1 receiver for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And then Christian Kirk
is a bona fide number 1.
I mean, for the Jags, he was like a number 1 for them, and he was the best in the slot in a lot of categories in the NFL all year long. And then Zay Jones, I thought, was terrific at times this year for the Jaguars. So look at that. Trevor, ETN, offensive line, Ingram, Ridley, Zay Jones, Christian Kirk. Damn, that's good.
That's really good. It's really good.
That is really good.
The reality is, Brent, like, Christian Kirk was a fine number 1 for the team last year in his first year. I mean, do you want to see more production? Why not? Sure. Everyone likes a little more whipped cream on top. Right, Brent?
Oh, it's not even whipped cream Wednesday, but it was Sundays on Mondays.
Guess who's going to the fridge
today?
I got the warning.
Starting to spread, by the way, because I had somebody else come up to me and said, I heard you've been stealing.
Oh, yeah. Bob's putting the word
out. Quiet. Let's keep that a secret.
He's putting the word out. He's got everyone on the lookout. But I
haven't been suspended yet for my stealing, but that's good.
The point is, like, if you get the exact same year from Christian Kirk, Brent, you get the exact same year from Zay Jones. I keep wanting to call him Zay Flowers now. And let's say you get the exact same year from Evan Ingram. Let's say no one takes a significant step forward, but no one takes the step backward. And let's say maybe you don't get what you're expecting out of Ridley. You still have a great offense. So to think that none of it's going to improve is just so highly unlikely, barring some kind of injury or something like that. If everything is just net zero, you're still coming back with a better team than you had last year. And the team didn't even play to its full capability until we got towards the end of the season.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, here's what I keep talking about with the Jags, and we've had this discussion a bunch, right? How much do you have to add, not stand pat? And I understand that, but what you also don't want to assume is that these guys are the same players. Listen, could Ingram step back a little bit? Maybe, but he'll also be better in the system, like these nuanced things and his role in the offense. He'll get better at that. The relationship between him and Trevor, the relationship between Kirk and Trevor, the relationship between Zay and Trevor, ETN in the pass game, ETN in his second year in the NFL, Trevor in his third year in the NFL, second year of normalcy. I mean, Kirk, I don't know how much more better he is going to get, but I do think is more better. Can I say that? I don't think so. Trevor, I think, is going to get a lot better. And then the continuity of the offensive line is good. I know you might lose Taylor, but still, I don't know if you just replace one guy. That's a big deal. Barch, he'll probably come back in there. Fortner, year 2. I mean, listen, this is not pie in the sky, wishful thinking stuff. We've done that before. President of Sunshine and Rainbows here, the owner of the Sunshine and Rainbows Club. We've had to pie in the sky it a little bit. We've had to hope that it all goes well. That's not the case here. What happens when you have an offense that looks like this is you can actually have guys that maybe don't deliver what you thought they might deliver, because there's not enough footballs to go around to let everybody have another career year, I wouldn't think. But they just got off a season where ETN produced.
Yes.
Trevor Lawrence took a step.
Yes.
The offensive line was pretty good.
Preach.
Evan Ingram had his best year, and the best year in a tight end in Jags history.
Yeah.
Zay Jones had his most productive year. Christian Kirk had his most productive year. I'm not predicting all that happens, but as long as you don't go like crazy drop-off in injuries, right now on paper, this Jacksonville Jaguars offense, I mean, it's going to look a little bit like the offense that played in the second half against the LA Chargers. It looked unstoppable. That's what it did that day.
Let me throw this your way, too. What happens if everyone just goes back to playing like they were playing, but this year, maybe 2 or 3 of those 4 turnover games for Trevor don't happen? What if those just become regular games? I mean, you're talking about games that you would win walking away now.
Well, that's the thing, too, right? How much do you help with your defense? And that's the other side of this, right? I mean, how much does your defense get a little bit better? Because there's a lot of growth on that side of the football, too,
you hope.
In year 2 of Mike Caldwell's system. And Trayvon and Muma and Lloyd, who can certainly play better, even if the other guys all stayed the same. I think the one caveat on the defensive side is, can you turn people over like that? Because it's a little bit of a luck stat at times, I think. You
still have to expect guys like Tyson Campbell continue their evolution, guys like Andre Cisco continue their evolution.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That defense is...
And Josh Allen's going to be playing for a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of money.
Motivated man.
Yeah, very motivated man. So will guys like potentially Devon Hamilton and others. This sets up so nice for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I'm going to give you the other side of it. And we're going to talk so much Ridley, and I want your thoughts. 904-362-9901. You can call all afternoon on a bunch of topics. But I think the thing about it that's really starting to shift in my mind, the thing about what's maybe about to happen in Jacksonville that's a little more special and different than ever before, is the Jags won the division. They are the king of the South right now. They are an ascending football team that has a lot of young talent, that has also some proven talent that's now done it. And then the rest of the division is in shambles right now. I mean, some of them, Houston is in shambles until they figure it out, and we know they've got the guy at QB and then other things.
Houston's hometown is literally Shambles, Texas, population 1.
Yes. The other one is Indianapolis, who has just wearing all this pressure. Like, they just can't get it done. They haven't gotten it done. They can't win down here even with good teams when the Jags are bad. What happens when the Jags are good? They don't know if they're going to get the quarterback situation right. They might go with a young guy at quarterback, and you don't know if he gets that right. And even if he does, will he be ready to be right away? It's a lot of rights.
That's a lot.
And then you get the news out of Tennessee today, where the rebuild is starting to happen. This isn't just a clear cap space decision and look from the Titans that I'm seeing right now. Bud Dupree, boom, out the door, save $17 million, and shopping Derrick Henry. We wondered this a couple weeks ago. Is it the right time to shop if you're the Titans? Well, it depends what you're doing. If you're going to go get Aaron Rodgers, DeAndre Hopkins, well, then you keep Derrick Henry and you run it back and see what we can do. If you're not going to do that, which it doesn't look like they're going to do, they didn't even get Derek Carr, so they weren't in those sweepstakes. Well, it seems like they're ripping it up, right? And they're going to rebuild it. Now, they'll try the fast rebuild probably, but they're not going to be there this year. What's really interesting now, the Titans, what they do at the QB spot. Will they get aggressive? Will they trade up? Will they try to make a run at one of these guys, sitting at number 11, I think it is, in the draft, and move up and try to get their next guy? And if they do that, that too is a sign that, okay, we're rebuilding it. We're restarting over. And they have a new GM. It makes sense. It's kind of the time to do it. And Vrabel's done a very nice job, but now can he rebuild it will be the next phase of Vrabel. This is a division, again, that I don't think we should look at this lightly. That is very much unknown. That I don't think anything in the NFL is a walkover by any means, by the way. I don't think that. But this is a very favorable spot for the Jacksonville Jaguars as it sits on March 6, 2023, going into a football year where they've got the best quarterback. They've got a good coach. They just reinstated Calvin Ridley. They've got an offense all returning. They've got a lot of defensive players returning, while everyone else is trying to figure it out like the Jacksonville Jaguars have been trying to do for the last 15 years. Very favorable spot for Jacksonville.
It feels to me like if you can't get a King's Hall for King Henry, the rebuild kind of takes a little stumble.
I don't know if it's necessarily a haul because
how are you going to stockpile pieces?
Well, you still replace a lot of money, first of all, right? So you lose money off the books, and then you'll get something or some things in return. It's still a running back, as good as he is. How much will they get for him? And you have to commit to that. I don't know. Baltimore seems like, wow, that would be a cool place for him, right? They love that style of ball.
I think there are a few. Imagine Derrick Henry on the Eagles.
That's an interesting one, too, right?
Just running over everybody.
I don't know if they ever want to trade with the Eagles again after what happened with A.J. Brown.
Probably never again.
So,
didn't we say, probably like, thanks, Eagles.
Didn't we say Miami? Like, would that be an interesting one, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of interest coming out of there.
Along with some of their, we were just talking about places for him. And who knows if it happens. But Derrick Henry on some of these plays, what if like Kansas City were to say, all right, we're going to go get Derrick Henry?
It just seems so weird, right?
It would seem weird, but Derrick maybe at this point in his career can take some of the workload off. What if Denver says, I want to go get him? We're going to run the football. We're going to help Russell Wilson out.
And Javonte Williams?
I don't know. I have no idea. But there's probably more suitors than we think. Mm-hmm. And if that is the case, that they're shopping him and he does go, it's a certain sign for the Titans. They lose their they lose their central figure in their organization.
Yeah.
For the last 5 years has been Derrick Henry.
The hot to trot rumor, reviews by ZH in the chat echoing this. The hot to trot rumor on Derrick Henry is the Buffalo Bills. It's like they're one of two missing pieces on the offense right now. They need a workhorse, someone in the backfield that can do some work, and they really need a second option to throw to outside of Stephon Diggs. They thought that was going to be Gabe Davis. It wasn't. They thought it was going to be Dawson Knox. It wasn't, and now they really have to figure out what's next there.
Well, it's interesting in Buffalo. They've just refused to run the football. So if they're going to change philosophy-wise and say, all right, we're going to run the football, well, then Derrick then makes some sense, right?
Yeah.
We take a little off Josh Allen. We're putting too much on his plate. I think the number out there was 83% of the offense runs through Josh Allen. It's just too much.
Too much.
Just too much. And now he's getting dinged up and he's hurt. You got to have an alternative. So maybe they try to run the football in Buffalo. But the bottom line here is it's got nothing to do with every other team. It's really got nothing to do with Derrick Henry. The idea of it means that Tennessee might be retooling, reshaping, rebuilding. And we already know Houston is that. Indianapolis,
they're essentially there.
I just don't know. Like, they're not bad, right? I'm not going to dismiss Indianapolis. But they still don't know what they're doing. Like, they really don't have a plan until they go to the draft and get a quarterback, and it looks like they know what they're doing.
I think ultimately that's the point. Name me a team that drafts a quarterback that's not in a rebuild. You just don't see quarterbacks jump on mid-rebuild. It's not how you do it because you want to mold the team in the image of your signal caller.
It's weird to see teams lack direction. That's what I feel about Indianapolis. They just, and again, some of these moves over the next month are going to dictate what they're doing. So I understand that's what the offseason's for. But I'm having a hard time figuring out what they're going to do. How good is their offensive line? How good are they on the outside? They kept Gus Bradley. They like what they're doing on defense, obviously. But, I mean, they're not terrible. They're also not great. And I don't know if I trust them to be good, even if they look good. That's the interesting thing when it comes to the Indianapolis Colts. Calvin Ridley does make a difference for the Jacksonville Jaguars on paper. The question is, can he make a difference for the Jacksonville Jaguars on the field after not playing for a couple of years? One of the big tests of this that I've seen, well, actually, I'll give you one right in Jacksonville, Walker Little. The guy has hardly played over like a 3-year span, comes in and has done a nice job. So maybe if you're good, you're good. The other thing that I saw this happen a bunch with the pandemic year, when college guys would skip that year out for the pandemic, then get drafted, and they'd look fine. Who was the one that was right on the tip of my tongue? Now I can't find it. Bottom line is, go back and look it up, and there are several examples of guys that were fine. And I really wondered, it's like, if you don't play football for over a year, are you going to be just fine to go play football?
Not just
the way
that,
you're supposed to.
The way the scouting was happening during that year was weird too, and everyone was assuming that the draft picks would be all out of whack, and there'd be maybe some missteps there, and it just didn't happen the way that happened. But I think it is rare that you can step away from the game from that long and just come back like nothing's happened. But there are those cases. I mean, you mentioned Walker a little. There are those cases.
All right, so here's the deal. The bottom line, the moral of this story, first of all, good news on Calvin Ridley. We all expected it. Good news on Evan Ingram. We all expected it. Still hope a long-term deal gets done. I want to talk to Juwan Taylor in a little bit because I think that's a real interesting one. And the continuity is continuing here in Jacksonville. And all of this is adding up to what the AFC South looks like and what the Jags look like. This is adding up to one phrase. It's go time. I mean, it's really go time in Jacksonville. The window is open.
Yeah.
You can either use it's go time or the window is open.
You want to say let's ride or no?
I want to say let's ride. I'm an it's go time guy. But if you want to say the window is open, the window is open. Like, it's now.
Yeah.
Like, the Jags have arrived. It's their time.
For real.
And now you have to take advantage of it. I think the good thing for the organization is they realize it. That's why they moved a bunch of money around and everything else. Like,
I mean, it seemed like they realized it last season.
Well, they did, but I think what I like about the Jags is, bottom line is this, they arrived earlier than they thought they had, Aaron. Like, they knew they were better. They didn't know they were going to go win a playoff game in epic fashion, go to the second round of the playoffs, and actually, really feel like they had a chance to even go to the Super Bowl. And now they know, they have said, okay, we know this is our window. We're open right now, and we better go win. And we're going to try to win. And we're going to do everything in our power to win. And that means move money, kick money down the road, whatever it takes, and get guys here, keep guys here that we have. And we'll see if it pays off for them. But I acknowledge that the Jags, I think, are making a good move right now by acknowledging that and seeing that. And they're reading the room well, in my estimation. They don't always do that. Like, they've missed on that before. Other teams have missed on that before. That's part of it. You got to pile on and jump in. Let's get James on the line right now here on Brent Friends on ESPN 690. Wants to jump in and talk to Jags offense, I think specifically tight ends, as Evan Ingram does get officially tagged, according to the National Guy reports. Maybe the Jags have emailed us and let that know it's official as well. But, James, what's happening on a Monday?
Hey, yeah, no, everything's good. Everything's good. I'm calling from Charlotte. I've called before.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, listen, I love Evan Ingram, and they need to extend him. But what drives me crazy about this tight end position, I always hear this, like Kyle Pitts, Evan Ingram, their receivers playing tight end. And I've always thought, well, why don't we have one of those big, tall receivers play tight end? Like, I always think of Colin Johnson. We had him about 3 years ago. Big 6'round, 6'6", good hands, not as fast. He was a perfect candidate to kind of transition into that tight end position. Why don't they do something like that? Why do we want to spend high draft picks on tight ends like the guy out of USC or whatever he is? Anyway, I just wanted to say that about the tight ends. But as far as the draft, please, please, please give me a stud corner to go opposite of Campbell and get us 2 stud shutdown corners and get us a pass rusher. That if they do that, I am ecstatic. I'm happy because this defense needs some work, but the offense is ready to roll, and I'll let it go from there.
Thanks, James. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for your comments on the tight end position. Listen, we're going to talk tight ends because the combine was tight end heavy, and obviously some interesting stories coming out of there. What the Jags decide to do, can do, will be an interesting watch. Some other comments here on YouTube, especially Ridley back. Ingram tag. Today is a good day, says Andy. You're absolutely right. Cautious optimism concerning Ridley, says Glenn. Failed his teammates once. And fair enough. Listen, there are 2 red flags when it comes to Ridley. The gambling thing, which I think is a minor red flag, as that turned out, it was like a $1,500 thing. He was away from the team. He says it's a lapse in judgment. Like, I could easily see why he thought he wasn't doing anything wrong or wouldn't get caught doing anything because he wasn't around team facilities and everything like that. Yeah. And the NFL used him as an example, and he paid the price for it. The other thing is, back in, I think it was September or October of 2021, he took a mental break from the Falcons. Now, depending on what you believe, some people thought he was tired with the Falcons, like he wanted out. And that was his way of trying to get out. And then all this other stuff happened. But we've seen many times on social media the excitement level from Calvin Ridley the last few months to come to Jacksonville. I think he wants to play. I think all that stuff is of no concern. I think the Jaguars feel that way. It's definitely worth the risk. Every guy has risk with him. But I would say I'm comfortable with where Ridley is at, given the red flags of those situations. I'm not worried about it, and I think it's worth the risk. Could it happen again? Absolutely, any of those things. But I think it's worth the risk for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I really think it's one of the great moves I've seen in 15 years here, covering the Jacksonville Jaguars going to get Ridley the way they did, in the manner they did it. And now we'll see if it works out. If it works out, it's also going to cost them an extra draft pick and a high one.
Small price to pay.
But would be a pretty small price to pay. Kevin says, OMFG. Trent Baalke is him.
Yeah,
we up right now. LFG. I can't say these things on.
Oh, you sound pretty hip, Brent.
I mean, but I can't really say what they all mean. So I hope you just all us know this stuff.
It's fine.
Let's see what else. 10+ win season. I think that's fair, right?
You know what's funny about that comment?
9.
I remember joining this show last year. Guys like YB in the chat, a couple of other guys, they were like 11-6, 10-7, and we're all sitting here going, maybe, but probably not. And this year, it's like, yeah, no, that's what you're looking for. That's got to be the target, right? Like, if you're the Jaguars, are you disappointed with less than 10 wins this year?
I wouldn't think so. I don't know how you can think less than 10 wins when you just won 9.
Right?
Yeah, right. I mean, and again, what I'm saying is this AFC South is really, but you can't dismiss that part. When teams are good or when teams go on a run, usually their division is not stacked. It's really hard to go on a run if your division is stacked. That's what makes what Kansas City has done is pretty impressive, because the Chargers have been pretty good. The Raiders have been around a little bit. Denver has been disappointing, but it's a pretty competitive division. Maybe even those Steelers teams to win the North when Baltimore was good, but Cincinnati and Cleveland were so far down even in that instance. Now, if you go on a run in the North, like Cincinnati, if they were to win like 4 or 5 years in a row, pretty good traffic to get to, right?
Yeah.
Through. There's a lot to get through.
I mean, as long as Lamar stays in Baltimore and Pittsburgh figures it out. But, yeah, I get the point you're making.
The Jags don't have that right now, as it stands. They could have it by next year, but I don't think they're going to have it in 2023, and that's why the window is open. Keep the comments coming, of course, here on YouTube, on Twitter. We're on Twitch. We're on Facebook. We'll check them all out. Brent Friends on ESPN 690. We are just getting warmed up. Calvin Ridley, reinstated by the NFL. He will join the team in April. That's when their offseason conditioning program begins, and that's when he can join the football team. My guess is he'll probably be throwing on the side soon enough with Trevor Lawrence and getting some work in. Also, Evan Ingram tagged officially, so that's a thing. Derek Carr to the Saints. Derrick Henry being shopped. It's a big day around the NFL. Oh, by the way, it's Players Week here in Jacksonville, and we have a new show debuting tonight at 7 o'clock called No Gate Fees. That's high school baseball and softball and youth sports topics. Topic of the day is going to be, do high school sports still matter? That's tonight at 7 o'clock on ESPN 690. But we're back talking more Ridley, Jags, and crazy NFL week about to begin on ESPN 690 next.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly sunny with mild temperatures in the low 80s and upper 70s today. We'll see a brief isolated shower moving in on a sea breeze, but it's not a washout. Then we're partly cloudy tonight with overnight temps in the 60s. Join Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish beginning at 5 p.m. on CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jax. From the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Corey Sima.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds. Now get 0% interest for 5 years with nothing down.
Injured on the job? It takes one phone call to take back control of your life. Anajar Levine will fight to get you the compensation you deserve. Call me, Glenn Levine, for a free consultation. 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
Main office, Jacksonville.
We're dealing at Best Bet St. Augustine, the only card room and sports bar in St. Augustine, Florida.
With nonstop action, poker games of all limits, exciting tournaments and table games, and a sports bar showing all the action, Best Bet St. Augustine has you covered. Don't miss our delicious dining options, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and our always popular freshly made sushi. Best Bet St. Augustine is located at 800 Marketplace Drive off exit 311, where I-95 and State Road 207 meet. Learn more at bestbetjacks.com.
Hi, I'm Houston Bowles, 2023 Tournament Chairman for the Players' Championship. Thanks to the support from all of you, this championship is able to positively impact our Northeast Florida community all year round. 2023 Players' Championship starts tomorrow.
The sounds. The speed.
337.75 miles an hour.
Where legends race and new legacies are made.
Tony Stewart Racing has entered the history books.
Catch the NHRA season opener this weekend at Gainesville Raceway, where every ticket's a pit pass. Kids 12 and under are free. The Amalie Motor Oil NHRA Gator Nationals this weekend at Gainesville Raceway. Get your tickets at NHRA.com.
Right now, American Window Products is offering the newest features and window technology with Ultra Dual Low E glass and insulated vinyl frames with magnet weather stripping on windows for an airtight seal to help reduce your energy usage. All at an affordable price. This exclusive offer is for a limited time, so act now to save big with 12 months, zero interest financing. Schedule a free estimate at AmericanWindowProducts.com. American Window Products, the window professionals. Financing at time of sale for new orders only.
It's transition time to the spring season on the campus of the University of North Florida. Busy time to swoop baseball, softball, tennis, beach volleyball, track and field. Something for everyone at UNF. Find the schedules, results, the stories of the student athletes, and buy tickets at UNFOspreys.com. Plus, be an Osprey supporter and help get scholarships fully funded at UNF. Giving Day is coming up on March 22nd. And check out the strategic plan of the future for UNF athletics. You can find all that at UNFOspreys.com.
Ready for some baseball? It's almost time for your Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. Opening day is April 5th, and 1-to-1 Financial Credit Union has the deal. 1 week only, March 13th to the 18th. Stop by any 1-to-1 Financial branch and pick up BOGO Jumbo Shrimp ticket packages. Buy one, get one.
Yeah.
That's 20 game vouchers for just $1.95. No blackout dates, only the reserve seats.
Yeah.
Just hit up your hometown credit union 1-to-1. March 13th to the 18th. Get your BOGO and support the home team. Thirsty Thursday has never been better. Federally insured by NCUA.
When people ask how I do it all, the answer is simple. I don't, because some days I just can't. And on those days, I hit up McDonald's, sometimes even twice a day. Once for breakfast, like a buttery sausage biscuit or a savory sausage McMuffin. And I'll bundle either pick with hash browns for just $2.29. Then I'll be back later for either a melty McDouble or a bold hot and spicy McChicken. And bundle that with a small fries for just $3.29. Turns out you don't need to do it all to have it all. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal. Valid when product served.
No matter what I get, it's 20% off every day when I spend $1 on the McDonald's app. So yesterday was my please the whole fam on the way to the game meal. Today is my finally get them to stop asking, are we there yet meal. Who knows what tomorrow will be? Maybe a delicious crispy chicken sandwich all for myself meal. Whatever it is, it's a win. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Offer valid through December 31st, 2023 at participating McDonald's. Valid once a day. Excludes tax. McD app download and registration required.
Listen to ESPN 690 anytime, anywhere, on any device. Whether you're at home or on the go, get the latest on the Jags, FSU, the Jumbo Shrimp, and Action Sports Jacks on Odyssey.com. That's AUDACY.com or on ESPN690.com.
Big stories all over the place in the NFL. Derek Carr goes to the Saints. Real quick thought on that. A lot of people predicted it. I think when we had this topic, a lot of you guys liked that.
Yeah.
I thought the Jets were a great place for Derek Carr, but I also understand for him, he's not waiting. They obviously do have Aaron Rodgers top of their pecking order, and I think they want to see what happens with Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I would say that Aaron Rodgers is choice 1A, but if there was like a choice between 0 and 1A, Lamar Jackson would be squeezed in there. I think it was actually a stand-up move by the Jets here where they look at Derek Carr. They were like, look, we like you, but we're waiting to see what happens with Aaron. So if you got to make your call, which is what he's been telling everyone, he's wanted to make that call before the offseason got too crazy, then go ahead and make the call, and he made the call. I thought that was pretty stand-up by them. This is how you become an organization, I think, that athletes go, hey, they respect us as adults. as men, not as boys or students or things.
Yeah, and here I will say this for the Saints. If I'm a Saints fan, I like this move because now it puts me, boom, prime position to be the team to beat in a bad division, potentially. A division kind of like the AFC South, or it's even worse because nobody knows what they're doing, right? Tampa has so much money problems. They don't know who their quarterback is. Carolina's reshuffling once again the deck. I think the Saints actually fit in this category because they don't really – they're – cap space is whatever, but they're like, we're going to get a quarterback. We're going to get a quarterback we believe in.
They've got some tools, right? They got Olave, they've got Kamara. So with Derek Carr, the thinking is you'd at least have some offensive firepower.
Yeah, and Atlanta's on the rise, I would say a little bit, but how much on the rise? It doesn't look meteoric by any stretch of the imagination. The Saints don't do much for me. Like, I feel like in my mind they're a bit older and getting a little stale for me in certain spots, but they are big names with maybe some game left in a lot of areas. And is Derek Carr enough to kind of make them a true contender? Might be good enough, and that's why I like the move to win the division. And that's really all you need to do to get in the dance.
I don't think that's a might either. I think that's running away with it at this point. Until like the rest of the teams in that division start doing something, anything to improve their standing, you got to think it's the Saints and nobody else over there.
I guess.
It's not the Bucs with Kyle Trask.
Bottom line is Tampa, as they are right now, it still has a ton of talent.
But they've got to shed so much of this in the offseason, especially on the defensive side of the ball. You wonder if they're going to start to shed some of that offense because of it. I think the rebuild is going to be underway before the end of this offseason for the Tampa Bay Bucs. The Panthers, obviously, we spoke about, like, who knows who that team is right now? Who knows? They don't have the quarterback. They don't have the personality of the team. Brand new coach, brand new coaching staff. They could either trade up to number 1 or they could stand pat at number 9 or trade back to. Who knows what's going to happen? I've heard everything from Sam Darnold to Anthony Richardson. They just don't know. So I don't think you can sit here and be like, all right, that's a team you got to watch out for. And to your point, yeah, the Falcons won 7 games last year. And yeah, they drafted Desmond Ridder. But I think if they believed in him, they wouldn't be looking and talking to quarterbacks this year too. And they are.
You know what's interesting about Derek Carr move for me? Again, I think Derek's a good player. I don't know if he's a great player. But in a weird way, he's a bad fit for Bourbon Street, but he's a great fit for New Orleans.
He's an awful, awful fit for Bourbon Street.
But he's a great fit for New Orleans. Like
in what
New
way?
Orleans, I just think New Orleans a cool place with good people and like, not to say other places aren't. I'm just saying, like, it just feels good. Like, I think he's the hospitality part of New Orleans. Like, they'll put their arms around him, and I think he'll be a nice fit. I mean, the Mannings are New Orleans a little bit, you know, like that has a fit. Like, the Mannings don't fit on Bourbon Street either, but they fit New Orleans. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, there's something about it. And I mean, I like Louisiana, and I just feel like Derek Carr will fit there well. I think that's a nice home for him.
Derek Carr is one of these nice guys.
I thought he was fine with going to New York. But, like, New Orleans really does feel like a better fit for him than New York.
I think it'll be an easier road for him. First of all, he's not going to be the problem in New Orleans.
Well, he could still be the problem if he doesn't play well enough.
Well, he could still actually be the problem, but I don't think he'll be positioned as the problem. I mean, Jameis Winston wasn't even really positioned as the problem, and that dude was clearly the problem for a few years. I think Derek Carr comes in there, and they're happy to have him. I think there are other issues that are bigger than Derek Carr on that team that they have to address, specifically the defense and maybe building out some more help on that offense, especially for a guy who doesn't necessarily run as a quarterback. But that being said, like in New York, whether he was going to be the problem or not, and I know you've poo-pooed this on me before, but I'm telling you, that's the way it happens. Whether he was the problem or not, he was going to always be the problem if the Jets don't win in the playoffs.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, that is true. That is true. Here's the thing. You know the other part of this story is for me? What the hell happened to Jameis Winston's career?
Oh, man. Right off a cliff,
I get that he threw 30 interceptions, but take that away, which you can't really take away, but just for this conversation.
Hard to take that away, yeah.
Yeah, but you know what's not hard to take away because everybody does it is he threw 30 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Give me the last guy to throw 30 touchdowns and, like, never get a shot again in the NFL.
It's pretty insane. And it's not like he didn't have a good excuse this year. He had broken back.
Is he done? Like, I mean, have people given up on him? Is he career backup?
It just
Will he
feels
get a
like
chance
he's
again?
never going to start again, doesn't it? Unless he walks into a situation where he's got an opportunity. But I don't think anyone's choosing Jameis Winston in the offseason and going, hey, you're the guy who's going to save this franchise.
Yeah, I know, but that doesn't mean you can't get an opportunity. Like, if I was Carolina fan, Sam Darnold or you name it, or Jameis Winston, like, I kind of want to see Jameis for like 10 games. I was disappointed in New Orleans that we never got to see him. Andy Dalton held him off, I guess, but like we never really got to see him.
So it doesn't trouble you. He's never thrown less than 11 interceptions. That was his best year, 11 interceptions.
What's his other years?
He did.
Of course, the interceptions are troubling. Like that's fair. It is troubling.
22 and 15 his first year, 28-18 his second year, 19-11 his third, 19-14 his fourth, 33 and 30 his fifth.
Okay, so like really outside of his fifth, like the other stuff isn't that bad.
And look, before he got hurt, 2021, 14 and 3.
I don't know.
Best ratio he's got.
I mean, you find me, and maybe it's out there, but find me a guy that has thrown 33 touchdowns in the NFL in a season and, like, never got another chance.
Yeah.
Now, never's forever, and he's still got time, but it doesn't look like it's tracking toward a chance. Weird. And I'm not even here to defend Jameis. I'm just saying it's just weird. Isn't that a weird thing? Does that boggle anybody else's mind that, okay, I know fans love to say, okay, he just stinks. He sucks. 30 interceptions. Come on now. You can't just throw 33 touchdowns either, like in the NFL. That's not easy. He did a lot of good things mixed in with a lot of bad that year. Just a lot of bad. Too much bad for him. Let's get back to the Jags for a moment. There's a story out of the Combine this week when it comes to the Jags, and it's not a news story, it's Jawan Taylor. What are they going to do with Jawan Taylor? And obviously his agent is pushing big bucks, hottest guy on the market, big contract. Well, the Jags can't play that game. Like, they can't play highest bidder wins.
So the game they can even come close.
The game they have to play is right now and get it done if they're going to get it done. Once they cut Shaq Griffin, I think, and everything else, they'll have a handful of $1 million to play with. They could take bonus money and push it down the road and all this stuff. But so they have a way to do it if they want to do it.
You just don't think they will?
I don't think it's getting done. I don't think it. Now, I haven't talked to anybody about it that would tell me, at least, it's not getting done. I'm just telling you, I don't think it's getting done, which means like tomorrow morning it will probably happen now, maybe even later tonight now that I said it. But I really don't think it's getting done.
Reminds me of the LaVisca Chenault from last year.
Yeah, like it does happen sometimes. Here's why. Like, if you're his camp, Aaron, why would you get it done? Why
because you want to stay. Because you think there's hope here in this franchise for you to have a storied career, because you really thoroughly enjoyed playing with Trevor Lawrence and the rest of the boys here in Jacksonville. Maybe you've got a nice home.
He's from just down the road, a couple hours away.
Maybe his family's gotten acclimated here, and he's just looking for reasons to stay. Now, to the point, as a man who's competitive, which you got to assume literally everybody playing the NFL is hyper-competitive. You don't get to that level of athleticism without wanting to win at every single level. If you're Jawan Taylor, does it hurt to not take as much as you can get? To not get courted as much as you can get courted? Because the reality is teams like Denver are apparently hot to trot on Jawan Taylor.
I just don't see, why would you do that, right? This is a business. So, I mean, you want to come back to Jacksonville to the point where you're willing to give up millions and millions of dollars? I mean, maybe not tens of millions of dollars, but millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah.
You know, again, the agent's going to push you. And there's a little ego involved. Go be the highest guy on the open market, all that stuff, be courted a little bit, end up with a good team, pick your team.
Yeah.
You know, you get to do that.
For your situation, yeah.
I mean, he could come back to the Jags if he wanted to after all that, but he's not. That's my point. I've been saying this for weeks. Anybody who hits the open market next week that's on the Jags right now ain't coming back in my estimation. I mean, unless it's like a Dewey Wingard deal or something like that. But when Arden Key hits the market, boom, gone. If Ingram had, gone. Taylor, gone. Like, those guys aren't coming back. So I just don't, unless Jawan Taylor says to his agent, listen, went to school in Florida. I love playing with Phil Rauscher and Doug Peterson and this organization and Trevor Lawrence. I want to be here. Family's right down the road. Unless he says that and, like, get a deal done, let's work this out, he's gone. Like, I just don't see it from a business play. I have no idea. Like, I don't see how Jawan Taylor is back.
So last week, obviously, in Indy was the NFL Combine for young guys coming out of college to showcase their skills, but it's also a spot for the front offices to kind of get together, kibitz a little bit, talk to each other. Jeremy Fowler, working over at ESPN, he was one of those guys down there bending the ears of all the front office people. Here's what he had to say. The scuttlebutt was, with Jawan Taylor from down in Indy. Fowler says one player with a massive market is right tackle Jawan Taylor, who some teams believe could command up to $17 to $18 million per year. Pass protecting right tackles are scarce. Jags keep pushing hard to keep them, even though they plan to franchise tag Evan Ingram, which they actually did today. There was some belief before that tag was applied that they would possibly use it on Taylor instead if they figured it out with Ingram in the days leading up to the deadline. That apparently did not happen. Fowler says Jacksonville definitely sounds like they're planning to try to keep both players if they can. But to your point, Brent, 17 to 18 million. It's a lot of dollars to try and find in that salary cap hiding spot.
I thought about
nooks
this.
and crannies.
I thought about this weekend, and I don't think everybody's going to like this statement. But I'm going to say it anyway. And I don't like saying it because it's going to sound I really like Jawan Taylor. I think I always thought he was a pretty good player. And I thought the pick in the second round was a good pick. And I really love, just a nice kid, young man, personality, everything. And I'm so glad that, he was really out the door in August, and then he comes back and wins that job after injury and then holds on to it and plays great. And I'm really happy for guys that do that. So that being said, given the dollars and the market out there and what he's going to make, this has real potential, in my opinion, to be one of those things where the Jags get fortunate business worked out the way it did. Because I'm not convinced, even though I like Jawan Taylor and I think he's a good player, that he's a $17, $18 million a year guy.
Interesting.
I really am not. He's got to show me a little more than he did. $17, $18 million?
Yeah, that's close to the top of the market.
I just don't feel that with him yet. And I hope he is for his sake and just keeps, going and blossoming. I just don't know if he is. I don't know how the Jags can know if he is. It's like 1 year that he really, really played well. And here's the other side of it, folks. And I've been saying this. To me, the Jawan Taylor thing doesn't make a lot of sense from a business standpoint. One, you're overpaying most likely. Two, you have a guy that might be able to play just as well for $2 million. That's the way it's supposed to work. You drafted the guy to replace a guy just in case, and you did it well. Let it eat.
Yeah, I think that's the strongest point anyone's made over the last month or two when it comes to Jawan Taylor v. Walker Little. This is the way it's supposed to happen. Yes, you want to keep Jawan Taylor. He played great last year. You want to reward the guy for his great play. You want to keep continuity as much as possible. But, Brent, you're right. You got the guy. You've got the economical deal waiting on the roster for you. If you were going to have a hole in the roster last year to this year, of course, wouldn't the preferred place to be where you've already got the replacement on the team at a low cost? This is it.
To me, the Jags made up their mind last year when they extended Cam Robinson, that Cam Robinson was the guy they wanted long-term, and Jawan Taylor was probably not going to be the guy that they had long-term. They were going to let him play it out. Now, again, Jawan Taylor deserves a ton of credit here to make him rethink the way this all went down. And the way they needed all three guys is certainly a factor here. But for $16 extra million or $15 extra million for a team that's kind of up against it and going to need some dollars to play with in other areas, I don't think so. I don't think that's the way it's supposed to work or needs to work. Can it work that way? Yes. Doesn't need to work that way. So I think the Jags could actually win this in a roundabout way. If what I would do if I was Jawan Taylor's agent is saying, don't sign with the Jags, dude. You're going to make a lot more money on the open market. That'd be my advice to him.
Anywhere else, yeah.
And also, Walker Little moves to the right side, and now you've got your tackles. And now guess what you do? This is what you do. You go and draft another swing tackle somewhere and try to hit that for depth.
Yes.
That's the way the game works.
And now you could swing Walker over to the left if Cam gets hurt, or you got a guy to play the right if Walker gets hurt.
Now you've got to hit on those. You've got to make good decisions, but that's what you're tasked to do as the GM and your scouting department. And I just don't think you spend $36 million on tackles. I don't know if that's the way to do it in this situation when you've got a guy you can spend $36 million or you can spend $20 million on your tackles. And I think you can make the case you're going to get similar, if not the same production.
Yeah. I know you're not the biggest fan of the PFF scores, but let's throw some data in here to back up some of the points being made, if you would indulge me for a second. Looking at Jaguars tackles and the way they played last year. Currently on the roster, you've got 3 of them ranked. One is Cam Robinson. He's your highest ranked tackle. He's ranked 44th in the league out of all eligible tackles. Walker Little coming in at number 2, ranked 59 out of all eligible tackles. And then Jawaan Taylor, bringing up the rear on the team, ranked 65 of all eligible tackles. PFF liked Jawaan Taylor's pass blocking. As a matter of fact, they thought he was the best pass blocking tackle on the team. Gave him a 75.9, Cam 74.8, Walker 62.7. His run blocking, according to PFF, was a hot dumpster fire. Just atrocious numbers here for Jawaan Taylor from PFF on run blocking, 39.7 to Walker's 62.7, and then Walker's 60 and Cam's 57.3. All 3 of them could use some help in their run blocking, but if you're looking for a weak chink in the armor for Jawaan Taylor, PFF says don't ask him to run block.
Yeah, and I go back and forth with it, and I like it. I get it.
The only reason I mention it is because you're talking about $18 million, top of the market money for a right tackle. You got to be getting value there, and if you're only getting value on 55% of your plays, depending on your run-pass split, maybe it ain't it.
Yeah, and listen, I'm a believer that the Jags' totality, their offensive line played better than the PFF numbers would say individually. But the numbers are the numbers, and you got to be greater than the numbers too. Again, just to reiterate, I just don't think the Jags makes much business sense to go throw up all the dollars at Jawaan Taylor. If they can get a team-friendly deal, but why would they? Like, why would Jawaan Taylor give him a team-friendly deal? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. One other thing, Evan Ingram just tagged. Lord knows how excited my family and I are to be staying in Jax. Hopefully we can get a long-term deal done soon. That's the tweet from Evan Ingram. He's happy to be staying in Jacksonville. I think we're very happy to have him back in Jacksonville. The Jags are happy to have him back in Jacksonville. We going to the top where we break and want to break?
I want to break, but as you're talking, I'm like, hey, I could probably use a music bed to throw us to commercial here at any point in the day.
That's okay. Let's go. I can get us there. Let's come back. We'll put a bow on the first hour, which has been an exciting one here. A lot of NFL news happening, and we're not done. Calvin Ridley, the big story, reinstated. Evan Ingram now sharing his thoughts on being tagged and coming back to Jacksonville. Hopefully they got a long-term deal done. Jawaan Taylor, where does he end up? Is Jawaan Taylor just a Jag basically for another week? Very well could be, as the NFL league year is right around the corner in less than 10 days. We're back on Brent Friends on ESPN 690 right after this.
Brent and Friends is sponsored by Best Bet, now open in St. Augustine.
This is March Madness.
Driving with the right hand toward the basket. His shot blocked. Offensive rebound. Atkinson scores. 1.4 seconds left. Baker does not get off a shot. Notre Dame is headed to San Diego.
Last year's Big Dance got off to an exciting start when Notre Dame pulled off the double OT win over Rutgers in the first 4. Hear Westwood One's exclusive coverage of this year's NCAA tournament right here.
If you have ever thought about remodeling your bathroom but were worried it would take too long or cost too much, then stop worrying. Right now, Jacuzzi Bath Remodel has designed a collection of high-quality custom products and perfected the one-day remodeling experience so you can enjoy your new bathroom faster than ever before. It's a worry-free bath remodel from the most trusted brand name in the business, Jacuzzi. For a virtual or in-home appointment, call 800-826-9895. That's 800-826-9895. 800-826-9895.
I'll second guest dinners with friends because they can be interrupted by diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or oily stools. It turns out I have EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, which means I'm missing the enzymes needed to digest food. My doctor prescribed Creon, pancrelipase, an oral prescription medication that replaces pancreatic digestive enzymes. Creon treats EPI due to cystic fibrosis, chronic pancreatitis, pancreatectomy, or other conditions.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall, if you're allergic to pork, or if you have gout, kidney problems, or worsening of painful swollen joints. Call your doctor if you have any unusual or severe gastrointestinal symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor and always with food. Do not chew capsules as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon. Creon.
Creon is the #1 prescribed EPI treatment. Ask your doctor about Creon for EPI and visit creoninfo.com or call 800-633-9110 to learn more. That's CREONinfo.com.
The USS Orlick is a one-of-a-kind floating ship museum. Come visit her in downtown Jacksonville.
There's a feeling in the air where people seem to care in Jacksonville.
The Orlick, a Gearing-class destroyer with 18 battle stars, is one of the most distinguished ships of all time, and the most since the end of World War II. Jacksonville is a military town, and the Orlick honors all those that have served our great country. She's a great location for special occasions and meetings. Weddings, birthdays, anniversaries, memorial services are all spectacularly displayed on her massive deck. The Orlick is also a one-of-a-kind location for a business meeting. Your dream event can come to life aboard this historic destroyer. To find out more, visit jacksnavalmuseum.org or call 904-789-SHIP.
This is where I'm meant to be. Hello, Jacksonville. Hello, Jacksonville. I'm where I'm meant to be.
Find out more about holding your next event on the Orlick. 904-789-SHIP.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching your kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, trunk lids, license plate holders, and headlights. They've got lots of headlights. When you need parts, get it right the first time with eBay Guaranteed Fit. When you see the check, you know that part's gonna fit. eBay Motors, let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
It can be dangerously easy to steal your identity during tax season because so much sensitive info is all together.
Before we start the annual meeting of Sean's personal info, has anyone seen Social Security number? Not me. Nope. Nuh-uh. Oh, no. He's been stolen.
LifeLock by Norton makes it easy to help protect yourself. If you become a victim, we'll work to fix it. No one can monitor all transactions, but you can save up to 25% off your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Identity theft protection starts here.
On average, an artificial limb for a child starts at $5,000, and the first prosthetic for an adult can cost up to $50,000, making it nearly impossible for disabled children or veterans to afford the limb they need. At Life Giving Limbs, we cover the cost of these prosthetics, giving recipients a chance at receiving a new limb and a new start on life. Please help by donating now. Visit lifegivinglimbs.com or call 469-601-8523.
Hey, it's Brent Morton from Action Sports Jacks. Did you know you can watch our radio show? Yeah, video of a radio show. Just search ESPN 690 Jacks on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Or follow me on Twitter at Brent A.S. Jacks. Watch the show live weekdays from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. or listen on ESPN 690. Oh, we got like a minute? I can't even talk about Savannah Bananas.
You can try a little bit, but I'm going to bug you back out.
No, we'll talk about them in a little bit. We went a little long on those first couple because we're rocking today on a Monday. Players' Championship gets rolling tomorrow. Rory McIlroy at the podium at 9:45. John Rahm, Commissioner talks. The live stuff is kind of died down, but Cam Smith isn't back. Like, players are going to be a lot of fun this week. We'll get some different twists in the weather, not as crazy as last year. So some Players' Championship chatter coming up. It's really a dominating football day right now. Also, do want to tell you, coming up tonight, 7 o'clock, no gate fees, high school baseball and softball if you like that. If you like youth sports, we'll talk about youth sports topics, and this one includes, do high school sports matter and mean anything anymore? That's really the topic of the day, the central topic. We're going to have one each week on the show that can continue after the show and on social media and everywhere else. No gate fees tonight, presented by Nimnick Buick GMC, makes its debut. It's been a show I've been thinking about for a long, long time, and looking forward to having you involved in it on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and Twitch and on the stream and in your car. You can always jump in the conversation. We'll be joined by Yulee baseball coach and Baldwin softball coach. We'll also reveal our power poll. We call it our high five. 5 best teams in baseball, 5 best teams in softball. Who are they? That comes out later tonight on No Gate Fees, 7 o'clock, right here on ESPN 690 and every Monday. Florida State basketball plays tomorrow in the ACC tournament. You can hear that on ESPN 690 starting, I think, at 2 o'clock tomorrow. Oof, they hope not to be one and done. They stink this year so far, but maybe they can make a run. Cinderella slipper, will it fit for FSU? We'll be back on ESPN 690.
Anybody can win at Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino Tampa. One jackpot is paid out every minute on the hottest slot machines and table games. With over $2 billion in jackpots paid out in the last year, you could be the next lucky winner. Seminole Hard Rock Tampa has over 800 rooms and suites, a luxurious rock spa and salon, award-winning restaurants, and an exciting comedy and concert lineup, including pool parties with world-renowned artists. With a variety of gaming, dining, and entertainment options, anybody can win at Seminole Hard Rock Tampa.
You ready? Then get set and go to the Ready, Set, Go event, even on pre-owned at Arlington Toyota. That's all makes, all models, all colors, shapes, and sizes, all specially priced during the Ready, Set, Go event at Arlington Pre-Owned. Plus, our friends over at Arlington give you 30 days to love your pre-owned purchase or exchange it. With over 400 pre-owned on the lot, you better get Ready, Set, Go to Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. Shop in person and online at arlingtontoyota.com.
Earn more at Community First Credit Union. We make it easy with great rates, fewer fees, and accounts that deliver returns, like CDs and IRAs. With short and long-term options, we can help you reach your goals now and in the future. So save confidently and just be yourself with Community First. Add an account now at communityfirstfl.org. Community First Credit Union. Federally insured by NCUA.
Koala, koala, koala insulation.
Hey, this is Bruce.
And I'm Carrie.
We're the owners of Koala Insulation. It's a great time of year to invest in energy-efficient improvements to your home. With our competitive rates and new tax credits for insulation upgrades, you can get huge savings to improve your insulation today and see long-term savings every month going forward.
Give us a call and set up your free evaluation at 679-6282 or find us online at koalainsulation.com.
For adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy, now there's Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clearer skin at 4 months, and Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Nothing and me go hand in hand. Nothing on my skin, that's my new plan. Nothing is everything.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, you could achieve 90% clearer skin. Ask your doctor about the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe. You can watch us on CBS 47 and Fox 30. You can listen right here on ESPN 690. And you can subscribe to our YouTube and podcast, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hey everybody, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. There's a good chance you have a smart speaker, so use it with ESPN 690. Stay up to date on the Jags and all things sports by telling Alexa or Google to play ESPN 690. It's as easy as that. Make sure you listen weekdays 3 until 6 p.m. on ESPN 690.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Police in Colorado say they're investigating Grizzly star Ja Morant's actions from the weekend after he posted an Instagram Live video in which he displayed what appears to be a gun while at a nightclub. The department is investigating whether Morant may have broken any gun laws. He's away from the team as the NBA conducts an investigation. The first big quarterback domino has fallen. The Saints are signing Derek Carr. He's reunited with Saints coach Dennis Allen, his former head coach with the Raiders. That's one reason Carr is a good match with New Orleans. believes ESPN's Herm Edwards.
Head coach knows who he's getting. He drafted him, so he understands what Derek Carr not only brings playing quarterback, but what he's going to bring in the locker room. And we're talking about all these quarterbacks going to different places, but remember, a quarterback has to lead your football team. He understands his personality. His personality fits with this locker room that he has. They are the leader in the clubhouse right now to win the South.
ESPN reports Carr's deal is potentially worth up to $150 million over 4 years. The NFL has fully reinstated Jaguars receiver Calvin Ridley from his suspension for violating the league's gambling policy.
Get ready for Champions, the hilarious new movie starring Woody Harrelson. Woody's a hot-headed basketball coach who's in over his head when he's court-ordered to manage a team with intellectual disabilities and a whole lot of attitude. Champions, only in theaters Friday. Rated PG-13. ESPN 690 and Action Sports Shacks presents Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau.
We're going to have to show a little more patience than the year 2 pom-pom people.
Casey Kurtz.
Yo! But what are we doing, bro? Come on!
And Aaron Schachter.
I'm all in favor of these two showing their love, really celebrating their relationship.
Get him! Get him! Get him! Hit him! Hit him! Yeah! Boom! Jack! Boom! Yeah! Boom! Jack! Boom! This is Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau, Casey Kurtz, and Aaron Schachter on Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. ESPN 690.
Hey, it's a big day here on a Monday on Brent and Friends on ESPN 690. Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, Casey Kurtz is out of town celebrating that 1-year anniversary.
Last year he'll celebrate.
Maybe
That's
last
so
year
mean. I
Amanda
shouldn't say
celebrated.
that.
I hope they're having a good time.
I mean, if you're the president of the Sunshine and Rainbows Club, then when it comes to stuff like marriage, I'm the president, whatever the opposite is called. The Alimony and Court Case Club.
Delphonic says, "Ante up," producer Aaron. What does that even mean?
That's the name of this song, Brent.
Oh.
Ante up.
That's what this is?
By MOP, yeah. Delphonic might or may not be happy to know. I'm sure you'll be happy to know. When you go on your sabbatical a little bit later this summer, we'll change this up to a new song. I'll start taking requests now, but I think I know what I'm going to use. So, Del, if you got something for me, let me know. Let me know what you want to hear on the Brent and Friends radio show.
So, I thought we were supposed to use just bed music.
It's radio. We kind of do what we want to do.
We can do that.
Here's the problem. The real problem is this, man. We love our friends on our streaming platforms, but if we use copyrighted material, then we get the copyright strike. Now, most of them will release the strike once they make the strike, and they'll say, "Hey, this is no big deal. We see your fans. You're not trying to steal music. You're not trying to download it. You're using it in an effort to appreciate it, maybe even to promote the artist.
Celebrate it.
Yes." And so they let it go, but sometimes they don't.
All right, so we need we're taking requests and dedications for the summer.
Yeah, man.
Is what you're saying.
Yeah, I think I know where I'm going, but I'm open to it. I'm open to hear from people.
Real quick, we're going to talk Ridley, right? Derrick Henry we already talked about a little bit. Derek Carr we already talked about.
Yes, sir.
Jawan Taylor we've talked about. I want to kind of get everybody's opinion and thought on what's the next move for the Jags. Like, what else is going to happen here? Are we really waiting on Jawan Taylor? Because I'm kind of getting the sense like we're not. Like, they're still dancing a little bit, but I don't know how really long the dance is.
I got one for you. Do you think the Jaguars are hard at work trying to find maximum value, low cost, high yield in their defensive interior? Or do you think they'll leave it up to the draft? Because I don't believe they will.
Yeah, I kind of do. I think they will. But let's get on that in a moment. Let's get South Beach Gary on the line. I think he's hanging around, so we'll say hello to him. South Beach Gary, what's happening?
Hey, guys, of course, happy birthday to Coach Mike McDaniel, 40 today.
Absolutely. It's the first thing I thought of today.
I love it. No, but certainly, congratulations to the Kings. What a great, I don't know if you guys caught it, the Miami-Pittsburgh game, but it was an outstanding game. I give Pittsburgh credit, seriously. Both teams gave it all. It was college football at its finest, I'm telling you. And it's just so ironic, guys, that, it was after Terry Holland's passing, because Jim Mourinho started his coaching career as an assistant under Terry Holland. Right after Terry Holland's passing, the Dolphins finished up in a tie with Virginia for the ACC title. Miami, of course, getting the tiebreaker because they beat Virginia head-to-head. But it's just funny, guys, how life sports imitates life as far as going full circle.
Yeah, good thought, South Beach Gary. Appreciate it. And, we'll keep an eye on Miami as where they're seated going into the next week. March Madness, of course, the brackets come out in less than a week, and we'll check in with them. Appreciate your comments and thoughts. Anybody can give us a shout. A lot going on today. Ridley, Derrick Henry conversation, Jawan Taylor conversation. What will the Jags do next conversation? Anthony Richardson conversation. Darnell Washington, if Casey was here, would be leading with that probably. His favorite tight end. 904-362-9901 here
Washington
on the
had a
show.
good showing.
He did, and so did Anthony Richardson. And she said, what's the next move the Jags make?
Yeah.
Is it a moderate move? Is it an interior move? Will they sign anybody in free agency? I bet they make a moderate play here or there in free agency, I would think. But I think what you just said is probably more apt for the draft. I mean, the way they're spending right now, to me, it makes sense. With what they've got left. And those guys can be costly. Even moderate guys on the defensive interior, you don't find big men in a lot of places like that that can move and be physical and weigh what they weigh. So I think those guys could be costly even at a very average level in free agency. I think they're going in the draft, and I still don't eliminate number 24 from that spot, but especially in round 2 or 3, I would expect the Jacksonville Jaguars to take a defensive tackle. Now, I would also expect corner. You could maybe expect edge or tight end, but keep an eye on Jawan Taylor over the next couple of days in that conversation in the next week, because if they don't re-sign, which I'm starting to think they won't, then draft a tackle somewhere in there most likely too, because you need a swing guy that you can draft and develop.
So you've named 5 positions. Where do you think they're stocking in the draft, if not all of them? And really the question is, where do you think they're shopping in free agency? Out of those 5 positions.
I really think based on what they can afford, I think they're going to bring a veteran corner in, or like a somewhat veteran, like inexpensive corner, not a splash play.
Almost like a player coach.
No, I think like a guy that you can take a chance might have some ceiling to him that maybe hasn't played great as of yet. And I think other than that, it's going to be like special teams guys, like core special teams guys that they probably bring in. I mean, I don't know how much they're going to be able to afford otherwise. And a lot of that could be dictated by getting a long-term deal done eventually, if they're confident they can do that with Evan Ingram and move some of those dollars. So we'll see. They've got a little room to play with, not a ton of room to play with, but I think it's going to be very low-key on the free agency front for the Jacksonville Jaguars. But if you were to list and tier these guys, and this will sound disrespectful, it'll be like C-list kind of signings from a dollar standpoint on the free agency front for the Jags, in my opinion.
Very far from the opposite of C-list is this news that Adam Schefter has just put on Twitter, by the way, about 20 minutes ago.
More stuff.
The Chiefs and Frank Clark's agent, Eric Burkhart, were unable to find common ground on a reworked deal. Several conversations at the Combine, and the expectation is now that Kansas City will release the 29-year-old defensive end, who's the NFL's 3rd all-time leading postseason sack leader per sources. That is a big name that is on the chopping block, if that's true.
Yeah, and I saw that too. Dupree and Frank Clark.
Pass rushers to be had, but Brent, you think it's too expensive?
Yeah, I don't see how that happens. Like, I don't. I mean, if that's going to happen, then make sure you get Arden Key done.
Could you make the case that Frank Clark would be more important to this team and their prospects of winning than a right tackle?
Why do I have this perception, and this is perception, and I know there's been some stuff, and I don't know how he is from a locker room standpoint, that he feels a little bit risky to me from a locker room standpoint. They're trying to bring in certain guys, and I might be wrong on that, but I just feel like the outside looking in, that might be of an interesting, at least, background check to see if he'd fit in their locker room with what they're looking for. Because they certainly have been looking for a certain guy, and trying to build around that and keep getting those guys in there. Does Frank Clark fit? I don't know. I just think those guys, Frank Clark's going to get money. I mean,
he's going to get
have money.
A boatload of money.
Well, I don't know about a boatload.
29 years old, dude's a beast.
Is that all he is? He's 29,
yeah.
huh?
Dude's a beast. He
Gosh,
can get
I feel
after
like
the
he's been around
quarterback in a
forever.
big way.
Yeah, so he's not. Yeah, they can't afford him. He's going to go He'll
I
go to like
find
Chicago.
it hard to believe anyone
Chicago
can't afford anybody anymore.
Like, think about the big names. I get it. Like, they can, but will they? No. Like, there's a willingness and all this other stuff. I just don't see that guy coming. I doubt it. There's some interesting stuff out there, right? The Jalen Ramsey stuff continues to be a talker, which we'll get into probably a little bit later. We've got some tweets that will feed into that. Even an Allen Robinson name that, like, the Rams are really trying to shed dollars
quickly,
right? And say, go look for new homes if you can.
Here's the problem, though. They're now up to their second or third guy that they wanted to trade, if you count Wagner. And they're not getting the trades on these guys. They're having to cut guys. They're not recouping these draft picks that they sold, essentially, for Matt Stafford, which I think is ultimately the goal for them, especially if they're trying to rebuild quickly.
What's interesting to watch the Rams, in my opinion, is they're up against it. They really mortgaged a lot of the future to be able to win now. It worked for them. So keep an eye on how the Jags are doing this right now. Are they mortgaging the complete future? No. But are they at least mortgaging some of it for right now? Yeah, I think that's safe to say. They haven't been in this position. Well, just from kicking dollars down the road. Does that catch up with you where then you have to say, okay, we love you, Christian Kirk, but we're not going to keep you? Or, just some names that they thought they would want around for a long time. I mean, Jalen Ramsey, they bring in, they trade a bunch of picks, they sign him to a big deal, and now it's like, well, maybe we're okay moving him. Like, that's really odd. Like, when you sign Jalen Ramsey, you're thinking he's going to be part of this thing for the next 5 to 8 years.
You hope. But I don't think that's the new NFL model anymore. I think you go all in for the Super Bowl, and then you pay for it. Like the Bucs are paying for it right now. They went all in for the Super Bowl, and now it's time to pay the piper. The Rams went all in for the Super Bowl. Now it's time to pay the piper. The Chiefs never seem to have to pay that bill. They're just going to continually get new lines of credit for the rest of their lives. But everybody else has to pay that bill at some point.
Yeah, I mean, again, a lot of maneuvering and a lot of hitting on draft picks to round out your roster so you can stay at least good and cheap in some areas. I think that's important to keep an eye on how the Jags do. And this is a little bit of uncharted territory, at least for this day and age of the salary cap and everything else and the amount of dollars quarterbacks are getting. The Jags haven't been in this position, not the one that they're going to probably have to write a check to Trevor Lawrence for, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that has not existed in the NFL until recently. So this is going to be uncharted water for the Jags. Biggest thing is you got to win right now. And that goes back to Calvin Ridley coming in and all the moves they're making to move money. How do you want to keep Taylor? Yes, because we want to win right now. Can you keep Taylor? Probably not, in my opinion, because if I'm his agent, I'm telling him to go test free agency. You run into that. Does that mean you can keep Arden Key? Like, will the Jags shift from Jawan Taylor to a guy like Arden Key?
They should. They should.
Like, why?
Arden Key is important to the success, the recipe for success.
Like, Trent Baalke was very transparent at the Combine last week saying, hey, we're going to get Evan Ingram done. We want Evan Ingram. We could use the tag. Boom, they did use the tag. Jawan Taylor, we want to get it done. We want him here. We know it might be difficult, but we want him here. I believe him. Like, I think they really do. But I think coming out of the Combine, my view today is that it's going to be really hard to get it done. Do the Jags see that as well? Do they read the room well enough to know, and they know the room, they're in the damn room, but do they now say, we need to kind of pivot here? And is Arden Key a guy that makes sense for them to now focus on with some of the dollars they maybe were thinking about with Jawan Taylor?
Yeah. I mean, I think it makes total sense. You have to increase the amount of sacks and pressures on the quarterback. You can't let it walk away.
Like, what? That's a big, I don't know what the dollar difference is. It's going to be an interesting dollar difference, but why not do that if you're the Jags? If the agent of Taylor is saying, hey, he can get X amount of money, and maybe he's already told them, like, hey, we're not, we'd love to work out a deal, but it's probably not going to happen here. The writing's on the wall. And when they realize that, could they shift? Have they already shifted? Have they already discussed? Where are the conversations with Arden Key? I know he bought a car from Dindnick Buick GMC recently. Like, that's all I got.
That's a heads up.
That's all I got.
The tag, the franchise tag for Arden.
Oh, they ain't going there.
It's going to be like $19 million. Obviously, they just used it on Evan. That would have been a little cost prohibitive anyway.
I think it's that if you were planning on spending some money, I like the idea of keeping Key and then not having to worry about that in the draft as well. And again, he's a 26-year-old guy. He could play well for you for years to come, right?
And the reality is that position doesn't always play well out of the gate. So if you've got a guy who's playing well in your system, like to use Mojo's theory, like, why are we sending good guys away still?
Well, and they don't want to. Listen, that's a great reference point. Maurice Jones-Drew brings that up all the time. Jags are trying like hell to keep him.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, they're trying. They really are. They've tried. They're doing it. They really want to keep Jawan Taylor. I think they're moving money around to try to do it. So they're making efforts. They keep JaMychal Hasty. I mean, I know that's not like A-plus guy, but they keep Ingram. They're trying to keep Taylor. They'd like to keep these guys. Like, they've made that effort. I think even Maurice Jones-Drew, who does always preach that here on our show, I think he can appreciate that. And then can you keep them all or whatever else? So we'll see what happens with those guys. Another topic from the Combine, obviously it's a huge topic, Anthony Richardson. This thing was meant to be for Anthony Richardson.
Oh, boy.
It was designed for Anthony Richardson. And we knew it. Like, there's no surprises. He was terrific, sensational. Threw the ball well, too. Ran, jumped. I mean, superhuman type of effort when it comes to the physical attributes from the quarterback position. And so here we are now. Here we are on a Monday after the Combine, some 6 weeks or so away from the draft. And now we have this recency bias all of a sudden that has invaded our minds, right? In your mind, you had Anthony Richardson where last week? Today, you have him where?
You know, I've fallen a little victim to that too, but I've only raised him in my draft prediction because I think people are excited about him now, not because he's a different guy than he was 2 weeks ago. I think it's hard to look at what he did in the Combine and go, yeah, this guy is still not worthy of a first-round pick. And not that anyone's picking him not to be picked in the first round. But that was the conversation, right? The conversation was teams were going to pick him in the first round, but it was a project and he wasn't going to play like a first-rounder this year. He would need to develop. Obviously, Anthony took issue with that comment from the Combine when they called him a project and a developmental quarterback.
Yeah.
But to the point, he's not walking in and throwing 3,500 yards this year, most likely.
Now, listen, Delphonic says, I had AR in the top 10, but now I have him in the top 5, which, by the way, is still the top 10. It is.
You're right.
I did see a tweet. Actually, it hit me kind of funny. Hit my eyes funny. I saw a tweet said something like, a lot of people think he could be in the top 10, maybe even higher. Like, well, the top 10's kind of high.
10 can you go?
Like, top 10 technically is still like maybe even number 1. But
I do think a lot of it has to do with the Panthers. Panthers have been closely linked to Anthony Richardson for whatever reason. Take your pick of multiple different reasons. A lot of people had thought the Panthers could stand pat and pick them where they are. Then they started talking about the Panthers may try and go up and get them.
Yeah, listen, I think there could be multiple teams that go up and get him. And I never blame teams for going to get a quarterback if they believe in him.
And now the hot rumor is the Seahawks are hot to trot on Anthony Richardson.
Listen, hot to trot, I don't know. Doing their due diligence, believers that he's got the skill set. Here's my biggest thing. Whatever you believed 2 Mondays ago shouldn't have changed that much in 2 Mondays. Because you know why?
No games happened?
You were not in the room in the interview. You didn't see him on the board. This is you now. This is not NFL Circle, people. This is you, the listener, viewer. You didn't see the medicals. Like, there's nothing that you saw that we didn't expect to see. So there's where the recency bias to me, like, he's a freak athlete. They don't make many like him. He did it. He performed. Like, all that stuff is the same.
He also reportedly had great interviews. Like, that's a part of it.
I actually do think, and I said this last night on TV, the thing I really like about the Anthony Richardson stuff is the red flags, if you have them, and not everybody does, but if you have them, and I do, they come from the field.
Yeah.
There's nothing off the field on Anthony Richardson. He's a terrific young man by all accounts. I think he did acquit himself very well in the interviews and everything else. Great. But the bottom line is I don't know what that means. Like, I don't know if he was great on the board or just, hey, how are you doing? Nice to meet you. Very polite. Like, what does that mean? So how can my opinion have changed in 2 weeks? I knew he was going to be a stud in the measurables. We all did. I mean, we got to check ourselves.
Did we know
sometime.
to this? Did we know to this length, though? Did we know he was going to be one of the biggest guys to be so fast?
We thought he was going to be a 4.4 guy.
Broken records all over the place. The guy crushed it.
He's a freaky athlete. And by the way here, this is where I'm okay with team trading up, team being hot. You like Anthony Richardson. You want to take the chance with Anthony Richardson. Like, you want to dismiss some of these other things. Why? Because you have a unicorn here, right? You have this unicorn athlete that they don't make many people like this. They really don't. Like, I mean, I always say this about LeBron James. I'm not sure they'll ever make another human being that can play basketball to his degree like LeBron James. Like, LeBron's been playing for 20 years, and nobody's walked into the NBA that looks like him and can play anywhere near him.
Yeah.
But they don't have, like, that look, skill set, body type, all this stuff. Freaky. Like, that happens. And so if you can get that, like, I understand why people want that. Like, that is rare. So you're getting something that very few people have. I also think, and I said this last night, I think that Jalen Hurts' physicality stuff with Philadelphia plays well for a guy like Anthony Richardson, especially if they don't change that rule. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, he's built like Derrick Henry at the quarterback position.
Yeah, like anywhere within 3 yards of the goal line, and it's an automatic touchdown for this guy.
Like this stuff is reason. Like, again, I'm not all in on Anthony Richardson. If I'm the GM, I think it's a very risky thing because there's a lot of unknowns. That's why. I'm a known guy at the quarterback position. I want to know what I'm getting. I want to see it. I know there's already going to be certain unknowns going to the NFL, but I want to know as much as I can know. I think there are a lot of unknowns coming off Anthony Richardson's collegiate career. I think that's just a fact. Even the people closest to him can't argue that. Now, can they say it's better? It's going to be better? He was mismanaged? Can they tell me reasons why I could believe it? Absolutely. But what I saw on Saturdays was inconsistent, was not great at times. And you know me, the confidence thing is one that I've really got stuck on with him. And I'd really have to talk and know that that's not going to be an issue. I do not want my quarterback going in the tank if things don't go well, because guess what? In the NFL, there are going to be times when things don't go well. Like, I've got to be able to check that box. And maybe many teams did at the Combine. What I'm telling you is 2 weeks ago, I had that question. 2 weeks later, I still have that question. I wasn't in the room. I don't know.
You don't know. I look at what happened at the Combine. I look at these interviews and how happy everyone is with it. I listen to my ears and what I heard at the podium that impressed me, and we kind of went into a lot of that last week, and I'm like, imagine this man. Imagine Lamar being offloaded for those 2 firsts after he gets the non-exclusive tag, and then the Ravens use one of those to go up and get Anthony Richardson, and the other on like a stud wide receiver or maybe a good running back like a Bijan or what have you, but suddenly you've got like baby Eagles over there in Baltimore running that Eagles offense. That could be a dangerous thing too. I think a guy like Anthony Richardson, while no one should expect him to come in and light the world on fire with his passing yards year one, I think it's completely believable if he gets the opportunity to start with the right offense. He could have 25 to 30 touchdowns his rookie year.
Yeah, I think somebody could. There are a lot of very good coaches out there. There are a lot of good. You manage well. You play to strengths. All that stuff. You can do it. But we also know you can get in bad situations.
Oh, yeah.
The one of the best prospects who ever come out of this thing got in an Urban Meyer situation, and he tried to ruin him. And this is the guy with all the tools.
Yeah.
All the tools. And he tried to screw him up. So it's not automatic you're going to get picked and put in good situations, even though it looks it on draft day.
He really did almost screw up the best quarterback this franchise is ever going to see.
And here's the thing. This is not Anthony Richardson's fault. But once again, what's happening, because we do this every year, and this is just human nature, I guess, because it's just played out this way. Like, it's fact. We raise expectations for a young man that the expectation shouldn't be as high right now going into a rookie year in the NFL. Like, there needs to be a development time. Yeah. He can say he doesn't know what project means. Maybe it's not project, but it's development. And development is needed for Anthony Richardson. That is a fact. Like, he cannot play the way he played on Saturdays in Gainesville and be successful in the NFL. Like, there has to be development. Are you willing to develop? Are you willing to be patient? Well, guess what? All these numbers at the Combine, all these expectations, you know what that does? Lowers the patient level of any fan base picking him, especially if he rises into the top 10, or as Delphonic says, even into the top 5. We'll be back on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690. Partly sunny with an isolated shower today. Temperatures in the upper 70s and low 80s. Then we're mild tonight with partly cloudy skies, low 61. Temperatures climb on Tuesday up to the middle and upper 80s near records as we stay dry. From the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Corey Sema.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds. Now get 0% interest for 5 years with nothing down.
Victim of a slip and fall? It takes one phone call to take back control of your life. Anajar and Levine will fight to get you the compensation you deserve. Call me, Mark Anajar, for a free consultation. 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
Main office, Jacksonville.
For seniors, staying healthy can be complicated, but one of the easiest routes to good health is prevention. No matter what our community's current COVID-19 infection rates are, getting your booster shot now is a smart way to protect yourself from severe illness later. ElderSource encourages people 65 and up to get a safe, free COVID-19 booster. For more information, visit myeldersource.org or call the ElderSource helpline at 888-242-4464.
Are you ready for a great deal? Do you have your heart set on a new Toyota? Then go to the Ready, Set, Go sales event happening now at Arlington Toyota. Of course, at Arlington, you get Ready, Set, Go deals and more, like 30 days to love your new purchase or exchange it. Plus, every new Toyota comes with Arlington's lifetime warranty. That's unlimited time and miles. But you better shop now before Ready, Set, Go is gone. Don't wait. Shop in person and online at arlingtontoyota.com today.
Discover how good your water can be with the new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. Connecticut's twin tank non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available, and their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. This month, you can trade in any brand water softener and receive $750 towards a new Connecticut Premier Series softener. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and provide solutions that are right for you and your family. Imagine having clean, clear, purified water at your home. No more plastic bottles, no more waste, just great tasting, purified water that you can trust. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. That's 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. Financing options available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1428211.
We're dealing at Best Bet St. Augustine, the only card room and sports bar in St. Augustine, Florida. With nonstop action, poker games of all limits, exciting tournaments and table games, and a sports bar showing all the action, Best Bet St. Augustine has you covered. Don't miss our delicious dining options, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and our always popular freshly made sushi. Best Bet St. Augustine is located at 800 Marketplace Drive off exit 311, where I-95 and State Road 207 meet. Learn more at bestbetjax.com.
Rich Jones here. Investing can be more about just filling a bank account. It's about having a secure retirement, protecting your family. Let DLP Capital help you to protect your why. Here's CEO and founder Don Wenner.
I started DLP Capital with an expectation that I could provide my family, my investors, my team members, and the families of my investors with awesome returns, limited volatility, and no losses, all while providing desperately needed affordable housing to the American workforce.
To get your investor's guide and learn more, dial ** invest on your cell phone or visit highyieldreturns.net.
Hi, I'm Houston Bowles, 2023 Tournament Chairman for the Players' Championship. Thanks to the support from all of you, this championship is able to positively impact our Northeast Florida community all year round. 2023 Players' Championship starts tomorrow.
In this market, you'll find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Different how? Aren't we all just looking for the hottest stocks?
Nope. We use diversified strategies to position our clients' portfolios for their long-term goals.
You don't just provide cookie-cutter portfolios?
No. We tailor our clients' portfolios to their goals and needs.
But you still sell investments that generate high commissions for you, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We're a fiduciary, the highest standard of care for a financial advisor. It means we're obligated to act in our client's best interest.
So when do you make more money? Only when your clients make more money?
Yep, we have one transparent management fee structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Sounds like you really look out for your clients.
We do, because our priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. That might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
Listen to ESPN 690 anytime, anywhere, on any device. Whether you're at home or on the go, get the latest on the Jags, FSU, the Jumbo Shrimp, and Action Sports Jacks on Odyssey.com. That's AUDACY.com or on ESPN690.com.
Darnell Washington, by the way, is freaky, too, at the Combine.
Oh, man.
Delphonic says this, Dane Brugler.
Love
on the Athletic podcast.
Yeah, man.
Talking about Anthony Richardson. His floor is his athleticism, and his ceiling is his mind. Hadn't heard that before, but made sense.
It's interesting. So
That's
he's
very
basically
philosophical.
saying his limitation is his mind, and like he's never going to be worse than the freaky athlete he is.
Yeah,
it's you know what? That's like a cool thing to put on a poster. I get why Dell likes it, but I don't think it really means anything. Like if you draft this guy and you need him to be your starting quarterback and he's just not capable of the position yet, then his floor is actually much lower than his athletic ability. It's last place.
Well, okay. So big ceiling guys are scary if you're playing against them. So I just asked this simple question. If Indianapolis or Houston or Tennessee, anyone in the AFC South, all three could be looking at quarterbacks.
Okay.
If any of them end up with Anthony Richardson, are you like, oh, damn.
This year?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, well, no, just in general, like, oh, we got to play this guy in the division. Like Bryce Young,
it depends.
CJ Stroud.
Like none of those
Anthony
guys scare me
Richardson.
today.
All three of them could be coming to the AFC South.
That being said, I think Anthony Richardson might be the only one out of the three who could do significant damage to you in a game year one versus moderate damage to you, but I don't think that'll be his norm. Like, I don't think Anthony Richardson is putting in a Hall of Fame rookie season as a rookie next year, but I do think he'll have the capability, much like Justin Fields, to spike for a couple of these games where you go, can you imagine what's on the horizon for this guy? Like, you could see Anthony Richardson, tell me, Brent, you could see Anthony Richardson having a 5-touchdown game his rookie year? I could. 3 rushing, 2 passing? You could see that?
Yeah, I could. Yeah.
So that's impressive to me. Like, you're not going to see Bryce Young with a 5-touchdown game his rookie year.
I don't know. I don't think there's any different odds that those guys get in a 5-touchdown game.
Okay. One guy can do it by himself and one guy can't.
So, if Anthony Richardson goes to the Texans, we're not that worried this year.
That the Texans are competitive, no.
If Anthony Richardson goes to the Colts?
No.
No?
No.
Not with that roster?
They're not built for him. They're not. They have too many tools that aren't him.
If Anthony Richardson goes to the Titans?
I think it's a better situation than the other two. But again, like, there's too much work to do. Not just with Richardson. Like, these are teams with new coaching staffs. These are teams with front office, new configurations. These are teams trying to reset it. I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but if you're a Jags fan, how are you scared of any of these teams this year?
Well, I'm not. That goes back to the top of the show. You can always listen on the podcast and YouTube channel, Action Sports Jacks, by the way. We're just back on Twitter at Brent AS Jacks or ESPN 690 Jacks. And the whole first part of the show today was Calvin Ridley and what the Jags look like and where the Jags are right now, tagging Evan Ingram, who's happy about staying in Jacksonville, and where this football team is, which is a place like it's almost weird. Like I haven't been in my 15 years covering them versus the rest of the AFC South. But the bottom line is, I'll say it again. Anthony Richardson, C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young. I'm not even going to put Levis in this conversation, but he could.
You should.
But those three seem like they will have more scary potential than a guy like Levis if I ask this question, right? So those three could end up. They really could end up in the AFC South this year. That's not like a pie-in-the-sky thing. That could really happen. And if that happens, it's not a one-year thing. You really have to take now a 5-year deal.
Yeah.
For the next 5 years where the Jags are looking on the rise with their quarterback and their coach and some pieces around him. Do you then become worried about, whoa, Anthony Richardson, man, he might be really good. Like, I get people say he might not be, but he might be really good. And that dude, Bryce Young, yeah, I guess he's small. Like, I understand all that stuff. But did you watch him play on Saturdays? He scares the hell out of me.
No, he's a very
Stroud,
talented quarterback.
Like, do those guys do that for you? They could turn into that. I'll answer my own question. They don't.
Year one?
None of them don't.
How could you?
Not even year one, but not even year 3 or 5.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they don't. I don't feel that way. I'm just being honest with you. I'm not saying they can't turn into that. I also didn't think Jalen Hurts would be in the Super Bowl in year 3. Right? Because now if I'm in the NFC East, I'm kind of worried and scared of Jalen Hurts for the next 5 years. I wouldn't have said that last year or 2 years ago.
You wouldn't have said at the beginning of the season last
right?
year.
So that happens. But I really don't think, and I think some of this feeling on my part is because, guess what? In Jacksonville, you got Trevor Lawrence.
It is a nice little safety blanket,
It's like,
isn't it?
I'll take my guy. You go have your, it's like, we're going to pick up game, I'll take my guy.
No matter who you're playing against, Trev's still going to try and sling it for 4 or 5 touchdowns in a game.
And you have confidence that he's better than the other guy. And I have confidence that Doug Peterson is just as good, if not better, than the other guy.
But do you have confidence that the Jags defense will be able to stop a guy like beast mode Anthony Richardson? Not necessarily rookie Anthony Richardson, who's not sure where he is on the field, but I don't know that the Jags can stand toe-to-toe with those kind of quarterbacks.
We'll find out. Or they have to build it to do that, right? I mean, they have to kind of build their team to stop the run in the AFC South. Will we now be talking about a team that needs to be built to do other things against Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Anthony Richardson, 2 of those guys, or 3 of those guys, 1 of those guys, whatever it looks like. So I'm just saying, I think there are times, like if this was the Justin Fields, Trevor, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Mac Jones draft, and the AFC South was sitting in the position, I would have been like, ugh. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I would. Now, it's panned out that, Brent, you might not have to worry about Zach Wilson. You might not have to worry about Trey Lance. You might not have to worry about Mac Jones.
Yeah.
But I'm just telling you, that draft, I would have been like, yeesh. Like,
looked
I don't want to
daunting,
look. Yeah, I don't want. This could be ugly for the next. This draft, to me, as good as Bryce Young is as a football player, and he looks it, still doesn't do that for me. I worry about Bryce Young's staying power in the NFL at 180 pounds. It feels like. I mean, he's not, but it feels that way.
It seems small.
C.J. Stroud, I got to see more and know how it translates.
I mean, he looked pretty smooth and accurate, but
he actually looks very accurate. He really is an accurate guy. Like, he might be the best of the bunch. He's really the non-sexiest of the bunch in a way.
Yeah, safest
right?
pick, yeah.
And he might be the best. Because sometimes that wins the day.
When the Jaguars defense really started to make the transition into this, attempt to be a run stopper, you're talking about being in a conference or in a division with Jonathan Taylor, with Derrick Henry. And granted, while Dameon Pierce wasn't a name before last year, the Texans have usually had 1 or 2 running backs on the team who were serviceable, if not good, over the past few years. So if you do, in fact, end up, and it is a possibility, you bring in 3 rookie quarterbacks this year, or 3 high-level draft pick rookie quarterbacks this year, does that require the Jaguars to start second-guessing or at least reconfiguring the defensive goals?
Well, it could, but I think the Jags are already, at least in some way, shape, or form, they're an athletic,
fast
defense. I think that allows you to play. Now, corner, investment in corner, if they're going to be pass-happy guys, well, that could happen.
Well, you talked to Josh Allen last year, and he says, first and foremost, stop the run. Granted, the team didn't do it very well, but first and foremost, that was the goal. At times they did, but it wasn't, I think, to the level they were hoping.
But here's the thing. The Jags right now, the way they sit, and this was last year, I think they were kind of targeting, okay, we got to be better against the run given the previous years. But now I think what they're trying to build is, how do we beat the Chiefs? How do we beat the Bills? How do we beat the Bengals? They're not worried about the AFC South necessarily.
Yeah.
Now, they should have their eye on it. They got to get through them first.
But it's
I think
not like the
AFC
South is stopping them from making the playoffs next year.
Like, why does everybody want a corner this year? Because they want to be able to beat the Chiefs and the Bengals and the Bills.
Yeah.
Why does everybody want more pass rush out of Trayvon Walker? Because of that. Why does everybody maybe want to keep Arden Key? Because of that. They need to get after those guys so they know that, and that's how you win in the NFL. So I think they're already kind of there, and the bottom line is you do have to stop the run, almost in any situation if you're going to win football games and win it big. But Anthony Richardson, Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, the quarterback class could be terrific. I just don't get this, scary vibe out of them for me. Sitting here right now. And again, I'll admit, some of that might be in Jacksonville because Jacksonville's in a pretty good situation. Something to be really scared about in the AFC South until they prove it. Jacksonville's in a very, very good spot. Hey, let's pivot quick. And I got to mention this because you were there. We were there. I'm wearing the shirt. They got me to buy one.
And they had enough merch tents around that stadium. So I'm
they
glad you
are Disney when it comes
zone.
to that, aren't they?
Well, this is the point, right? Like, you take this thing on World Tour because you're out there trying to cash in, and boy, did the Savannah Bananas figure it out.
Here's what I love. I love good ideas. You can respect that.
Yeah, sure.
Like when people build a business, it's kind of this creative idea. They take a gamble and it works. I haven't gone back and researched the Savannah Bananas story much. I mean, you know the Cliff's Notes version of it. And I was kind of thinking, I'm like, man, this is like, wouldn't this have been a hit right away? Like, shouldn't people have been doing this a while ago? And I was like, not really. I think the overhead on it, the concept, like even though it was good back in Savannah, can you take it on the road? Like there's a lot of unknowns. Will it be as big? Now, social media helped prove that some of the stuff that they were doing was really working. I get all that. But I also think about the irony here. What the Savannah Bananas are doing at the time they're doing it since like 2016 comes in a period of time where Major League Baseball is trying to speed things up and entertain people more than really worry about the integrity of the game. And the Bananas are here doing it for you. Like they're basically saying, here's how you do it. Here's how you entertain people with baseball.
It's an interesting
So it comes in at like
there.
this perfect time. And timing is a lot of things, right? When it comes to business and everything else. I think it's at a great time that people probably aren't thinking about. But guess what? No pitch clock at the Bananas game.
Didn't need
Happens in 2 hours, and the guy throws it as soon as he gets it back.
The entire game is a pitch clock.
In fact, the game lasted an hour and 50 minutes yesterday.
They finished early.
One the night before. Yeah, finished early. They said it was the fastest one. I don't know if they just say that or if it was real. But, I mean, it is everything that everybody says. It's baseball meets the circus, meets the Globetrotters, meets Broadway, meets maybe the way baseball should be played at times in some area. My biggest takeaway from really what you could use in minor league baseball and pro baseball is the NBA uses music throughout the game.
Yeah.
You really wonder why baseball doesn't.
Well, you don't wonder. You know why.
Why?
Especially in baseball, Brent. Come on.
Why?
The stuffiest, most uptight fans are baseball fans. Stop it.
What do you mean? That's
the
not golf?
purest. Brent, I showed up at this game yesterday. Okay, I'll give you tennis. I showed up at this game yesterday. I'm talking to one of my friends who works over there at the Shrimp, used to work in this building. I was like, man, this is exciting, right? Sold out crowd last night, sold out crowd today. Big national story here, Savannah Bananas. And he looks at me and he goes, yeah, I mean, I guess not if you're a baseball purist, but it's fun. And I'm like, you have to be kidding me, man. Baseball purist. What are you, a historian? This is fun. This is a fun activity. This is a fun day at the park. You're not playing for a championship watching the Savannah Bananas. You're here to be entertained. You're here to take your 5 to 7-year-old kid who normally can't sit still for 3.5 minutes, plop him in a chair and go, hey, now you're sitting still for 30 minutes.
More than that, here's when you know something's working. All right, we went with our Action Sports Jacks group, and it was really a lot of fun. We had a good day. And actually, two things I'll tell you. I thought when we planned this event, like we'd get to meet and greet the families and talk a little bit. Well, if you didn't do it by the time the first pitch happened at 1 o'clock, you weren't talking to anybody because everybody's glued to the event for 2 hours.
And participating.
In it.
Yeah.
Singing and dancing and watching.
Yes.
And trying to get free T-shirts and baseballs and everything else.
Yes.
The other thing, and this is, you want to talk about like the ultimate compliment you can probably give anybody. And from a business standpoint, especially this one, is I would look around. I took some pictures of people and just look everywhere you look. It's hard to make eye contact with people because they're watching and they're smiling.
Yeah, we were having fun.
There are more people laughing and smiling for this 2-hour stretch than I can remember at like any event. It's kind of got a cruise ship mixed into it feel. You know what I mean? You know, it does. Like
a little bit.
That was the other thing I was thinking about, especially the night game when you get a couple of pops in you and stuff. But it's really well done. Really, really. Just everything.
I thought
everybody
they did
loves
fantastic.
it, and it's really a fantastic thing. Like they really do hit a home run with the whole deal.
Year one of the World Tour. I thought they did a great job. Another thing my friend at the Shrimp said to me that because we are the closest or one of the closest markets to Savannah, they're actually able to bring out the whole circus with them as opposed to what they're doing in maybe some of these other markets where it's like a toned down version a little bit. But I remember on the way to the game, I'm thinking to myself, I'm having this internal monologue in the car. I'm like, maybe this thing might be better as a TikTok video than an event. I had lowered my expectations as I was arriving. But they surpassed anything I had expected. What a great time it was.
It really is a good time, and it's different. See, that's the other thing. It's different. I wondered, I gave you 3 other quick thoughts before we go. One is, I wonder about I don't know how much they make. I'd love to know in terms of the players. And
It's gotta be small. It's minor league baseball
probably not that
numbers.
much.
Yeah.
But it's a great way to stay involved. But do they get bored sometimes with it? I said that to Steph Levin. I was like, does it get old for them?
I bet you it doesn't.
Or is it a rush like people on Broadway or putting on a concert?
They're stars. That umpire, the short, stocky umpire,
Oh, yeah.
he's a celebrity.
I know, but here's why I say that. Baseball guys, the beauty of baseball, like real baseball, if you will, is there's this competitive nature to it. No, not purists. There's a competitive nature to it and this survival mode to it. Like your numbers tell the story, whether you're going to make it to that next year. That's a rush in itself, right? That's competitive. That's stressful. Out here, it doesn't matter if you go 0 for 2, 3 for 2. It doesn't matter.
No,
Doesn't matter what you do. So
Yeah.
that's a weird thing to get through with a baseball guy. But you're a performer more than you are
An athlete.
An athlete in this setting. But keep in mind, they're former athletes. That's my other takeaway
Current
from
athletes, I mean.
Current athletes. My other takeaway, they're good.
They are pretty good.
I mean, I saw 2 bombs hit, and then you'd see a guy like cowboy hat, takes off his shirt after dancing a little bit, and
Does
then
a spin.
boom, throws it 91.
I was going to say, I watched the Party Animals pitcher throwing straight 90s for like 4 innings.
I mean, it is really like they are good. We saw 2 great plays at the plate on Friday and Saturday. And then one last thought for me.
Great throw a third, too.
This thought, I don't know if everybody got to see, not everybody did get to see both nights. I ended up seeing both nights, both days. So Saturday night. And then I was told Sunday was the first time they've done it during the day.
Yeah, that's their first day game.
Which is wild. So they always do it at night, but they did this one during the day as a second show.
Yeah.
It does work better at night, I think.
Oh, really?
It touch better. That's what I felt.
Is it just a vibe thing?
I think the vibe is a little bit better at night. Now, the only thing I would say is, maybe because I'm getting a little older, but seeing stuff is easier during the day. All the stuff, because there are so many things to see. Like
Happening
you
at
could
the
be
same
watching
time?
the game while the next guy's coming on deck, and that's where the show is really happening.
Or like on top of the dugout where the banana nanas are hanging out. Yeah, like all of it. Or in the outfield where suddenly the right fielder has decided to lay down for the play and is reading a magazine in the outfield. There's always some, I call it short attention span theater, ADD baseball, but man, it was so much fun. I think there needs to be a little more fan engagement with the crowd, bringing either people onto the field to do fun, dumb stuff or using the people in the stands. I thought they did a great job warming up the crowd with that little 4-year-old girl. She was great.
That's awesome.
A couple of those times where you ask the crowd to help out, either singing along. That was awesome. Where the whole stadium is singing hooks of songs. Like those moments will go a long way to bringing people back.
It's great. One final thought on it. It's not just the 2-hour game. Those guys are out there for like 3 hours before the game and then another hour after it. It's a long show.
And by the way,
even
they're
while
all
you're
on
standing
board
in line and
with
everything.
the performance because they're all in the stands doing the fan appreciation thing as well. Like you could tell none of these guys are
Great
taking
job.
it for granted right now.
It's really well done. Like you've heard about it and all this stuff. Like really, really well done. It was a lot of fun the last couple of nights. Hopefully you got to go. If you didn't get to go, Savannah's right up the road, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure they'll be back at some point.
Oh, my God. You know how much money they made the last couple of days?
I was trying to figure out how much money they were making.
They're coming back. Just on the merch alone. Brent,
I know.
I'm telling you, you walk around the baseball stadium, 4 sides, 4 blocks.
Great job.
You had like 7 or 8 merch tents.
More
lines
than that.
out the yin
Every
yang.
10 feet they have merchandise.
Oh, my goodness,
and it's
they did
really
it.
smart play.
Oh, yeah.
Really. I mean, it's very Disney-esque when it comes to the merch.
It's good stuff. It's funny
and people
stuff.
love merch. I did. Like, I got suckered in at the end. I waited 2 days to
You
do it,
weren't
and I
alone.
finally got in there and did it. Like my shirt.
I like it. It's great.
Where am I? There we go.
There you go.
Mike's in the way. We'll be back. We get back to some football. The Bananas were a lot of fun. Football at 5 on deck as well. Overtime with Kurtz and Middleton. And then our brand new show, No Gate Fees, coming up at 7 o'clock. And then the FSU Coaches Show. What a Monday on ESPN 690.
We're dealing at Best Bet St. Augustine, the only card room and sports bar in St. Augustine, Florida. With nonstop action, poker games of all limits, exciting tournaments and table games, and a sports bar showing all the action, Best Bet St. Augustine has you covered. Don't miss our delicious dining options, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and our always popular freshly made sushi. Best Bet St. Augustine is located at 800 Marketplace Drive off exit 311, where I-95 and State Road 207 meet. Learn more at bestbetjacks.com.
Skip the spring cleaning and sell your home stress-free with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. Hi, this is Mark Spain, and our offers are the strongest in the industry. One of our clients, Charles, said, "Selling my home with Mark Spain Real Estate was completely hassle-free, even in today's complex market. I highly recommend them. Don't worry about the hassle of constant cleaning and making costly repairs. Call 855-299-SOLD or go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today and start packing."
Certain restrictions apply.
When I started in '98, it was a different mentality for first responders.
I've seen a lot of people struggle after retirement, still fighting the same demons that they had on the job.
The ability to reach out to a peer support program is huge.
I've done your job. I know the burden you carry. You've saved other people. Let us save you at this time.
It only takes a couple seconds to dial 3 numbers.
First responders, call 211 or visit stayfitforduty.org.
When people ask how I do it all, the answer is simple. I don't, because some days I just can't. And on those days, I hit up McDonald's, sometimes even twice a day. Once for breakfast, like a buttery sausage biscuit or a savory sausage McMuffin. And I'll bundle either pick with hash browns for just $2.29. Then I'll be back later for either a melty McDouble or a bold hot and spicy McChicken. And bundle that with a small fries for just $3.29. Turns out you don't need to do it all to have it all. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal. Valid when product served.
No matter what I get, it's 20% off every day when I spend $1 on the McDonald's app. So yesterday was my please the whole fam on the way to the game meal. Today is my finally get them to stop asking, are we there yet meal. Who knows what tomorrow will be? Maybe a delicious crispy chicken sandwich all for myself meal. Whatever it is, it's a win. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Offer valid through December 31st, 2023 at participating McDonald's. Valid once a day. Excludes tax. McD app download and registration required.
Right now, American Window Products is offering the newest features in window technology with Ultra Dual Low E glass and insulated vinyl frames with magnet weather stripping on windows for an airtight seal to help reduce your energy usage. All at an affordable price. This exclusive offer is for a limited time, so act now to save big with 12 months, zero interest financing. Schedule a free estimate at AmericanWindowProducts.com. American Window Products, the window professionals. Financing at time of sale for new orders only.
Everyone loves TV Dad.
On the next TV Dad, presented by Progressive, TV Dad meets the prom date.
So you're here to take my daughter out, huh?
Yes, sir.
Now, I'm only gonna say this once. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say take care of my little girl or something.
She's a kickboxer. She could take care of herself.
Listen to your TV Dad. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Potential savings will vary.
Still overpaying for a razor? In this economy? Gross. At Dollar Shave Club, you can get a top shelf shave at a regular shelf price. We've been hawking shaving products for years online, and we're excited to bring you the same great quality and low prices at a store near you. From high-quality stainless steel blades to super smooth shave creams, Dollar Shave Club's in the business of making your shave easier. Find Dollar Shave Club in the men's razor aisle. Getting your Dollar Shave Club razor wherever you want. Isn't that great?
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. Thinking about gas mileage? If your check engine light is on, it may be affecting your MPGs, but the free AutoZone Fix Finder service can help. With the most complete free warning light report backed by technician-verified fixes, you'll know what's affecting your gas mileage and more, and you don't have to drive too far to find the fix. The free AutoZone Fix Finder service is available at all 6,200 stores.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
See details at AutoZone.com.
Brent and Friends is sponsored by Best Bet, now open in St. Augustine.
Hey, it's Brent Morton from Action Sports Jacks. Did you know you can watch our radio show? Yeah, video of a radio show. Just search ESPN 690 Jacks on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Or follow me on Twitter at Brent AS Jacks. Watch the show live weekdays from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. or listen on ESPN 690. All right, real quick thought. I have these sneakers that I like. And they're the Nike sneakers. I don't even know what they are, but they're like, it's like $50.
You sure? Are they dad sneakers?
No, they're pretty I don't know what dad sneakers are anymore. They're light. I like them so much, and I'm kind of hard on my shoes that when I think maybe they were on sale. Maybe they're like $45. They're usually $60 or something like that.
Yeah.
I actually got them at Kohl's. There you go. That will tell you if they're dad shoes. But I got 3 of them.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'm getting these because I really like them, and I don't want them to change, or go out or not have them anymore.
You're stocking them. Just in
guess
case.
what? I can't find them.
The ones you bought?
No, I have those, but I've worn them out. This is like year and a
you're
half.
at the end. I see. You're at the end of your storage.
I need new ones, and I can't find them.
Did you go to the website?
Yeah, I put the number in, and basically they're out of stock.
Yeah. Yeah, you're just out of luck, man.
But what does that mean? They just don't make them anymore?
Yeah, maybe try eBay or the sneaker app or something like that.
Buying shoes on eBay.
No, it's never used. It's just stores with inventory.
All right.
Yeah, we'll take a look for you, Brent.
I'm not going to.
We'll get you back in those New Balance any day now.
It's not New Balance.
I mean, you sure?
And now I did have Skechers for a bit. I got made fun of for those. I tried. But no, these are Nike. I like
Who
Nike
made fun of
shoes.
you for Skechers?
I think it was Austin.
You let these guys make fun of you.
I don't really care. But
Casey's going to call you a bum no matter what. You could be wearing gold sneakers.
You know what else I find? I have navy blue sneakers. I have black sneakers. I have gray sneakers. But white or gray, I kind of like more than the others.
Love all white.
You ever just look down and you're like, I don't like the blue sneakers. Or
I'm very picky with colors on my feet.
Yeah, I don't. They look good in the picture or when you're but then you look down on it's weird because you never look down anyway, while you're who cares what they look like?
I mean, I care.
Do you ever just look down yeah, that looks kind of funny?
Yeah.
No. But
yes.
Your head's always straight anyway, so who cares?
You're always checking out. You got to check out your look, man. See, that's the thing. That's why you don't care about your sneakers. You don't care about your fit. Guys like me, we have to look good.
Yeah, I really don't care about my sneakers.
No.
I just want something that's light.
$8 haircuts.
And I can wear without socks. Because it's easy to slip on and off.
That's why I like my Adidas I got going. I'll give you a thing or two.
Oh, you're an Adidas-sponsored guy.
Yeah, a little bit.
Football at 5 coming up next. We'll be back on ESPN 690.
Ready for some baseball? It's almost time for your Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. Opening day is April 5th, and 1-to-1 Financial Credit Union has the deal. 1 week only, March 13th to the 18th. Stop by any 1-to-1 Financial branch and pick up BOGO Jumbo Shrimp ticket packages. Buy one, get one.
Yeah.
That's 20 game vouchers for just $1.95. No blackout dates, only the reserve seats.
Yeah.
Just hit up your hometown credit union 1-to-1. March 13th to the 18th. Get your BOGO and support the home team. Thirsty Thursday has never been better. Federally insured by NCUA.
We've been in Jacksonville now for 15 years, and as you know and I know, we have to be ready for those hot days. And this time of year, the cooler temperatures, too. Need that AC working and then be ready to turn on the heat for a day or two. Bold City Heating and Air has us ready. They have for years. Can't say enough about their customer service. The communication, they are prompt, they are clean, they are good. Bold City Heating and Air, and right now, take advantage of their 0% financing on all purchases and just $97 for a tune-up. Be ready for the chilly weather and the heat. Bold City Heating and Air, boldcityac.com.
We're dealing at Best Bet St. Augustine, the only card room and sports bar in St. Augustine, Florida. With nonstop action, poker games of all limits, exciting tournaments and table games, and a sports bar showing all the action, Best Bet St. Augustine has you covered. Don't miss our delicious dining options, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and our always popular freshly made sushi. Best Bet St. Augustine is located at 800 Marketplace Drive off exit 311, where I-95 and State Road 207 meet. Learn more at bestbetjacks.com.
There are many issues small business owners face when it comes to operating a company. The need to have reliable suppliers is imperative and has become one of today's key concerns. Supply chain bottlenecks can be disruptive and costly. Where can you find the resources to address these issues? SCORE offers free confidential mentoring as well as workshops, webinars, and online information. Let us help you navigate and find solutions to difficult business situations. See how SCORE can save you time, money, and headaches by visiting our website at jacksonville.score.org.
Hey, this is Bruce.
And I'm Carrie.
We're the owners of Koala Insulation. It's a great time of year to invest in energy-efficient improvements to your home. With our competitive rates and new tax credits for insulation upgrades, you can get huge savings to improve your insulation today and see long-term savings every month going forward.
Give us a call and set up your free evaluation at 679-6282 or find us online at koalainsulation.com.
What's up? It's Casey. Check out the podcast Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690, wherever you get your podcast.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Police in Colorado say they're investigating Grizzly star Ja Morant's actions from the weekend after he posted an Instagram live video in which he displayed what appears to be a gun while at a nightclub. The department's investigating whether Morant may have broken any gun laws. He's away from the team as the NBA conducts an investigation. Derek Carr's made his decision. The Saints are signing the former Raiders quarterback. A good move for New Orleans, believes ESPN's Louis Riddick.
This is a perfect guy for a guy like Chris Olave to take his game to the next level. This is a perfect guy for a guy like Rashid Shaheed to take his game to the next level. You're talking about 2 second-year players that are dynamic wide receivers that are going to have a guy who's going to be invested, who's going to be there, who knows how to win. I love the fit. He's the best quarterback in the division already.
Reportedly, Carr's deal could potentially be worth up to $150 million over 4 years. Ravens Executive Vice President Ozzie Newsome told the Bernie Kosar show today that talks with quarterback Lamar Jackson on a long-term deal will go to tomorrow's 4 Eastern deadline. If there is no deal by then, they'll use the franchise tag on Jackson.
Need to spring back into hiring season? You need Indeed, the smart hiring platform that delivers 4 times more hires than all other sites combined, according to Talent Nest. Post a job and hire ASAP. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Ground-shaking forces return to Gainesville Raceway this weekend with 300-mile-per-hour racing action. NHRA Camping World Drag Racing is the fastest sport on Earth, and the Amalie Motor Oil NHRA Gator Nationals opens the season this weekend. Get up close to the racetrack and smell that nitro because every ticket's a pit pass. It's can't-miss entertainment and fun for the entire family. Plus, kids 12 and under are free. The Amalie Motor Oil NHRA Gator Nationals this weekend at Gainesville Raceway. Get tickets at NHRA.com.
You ready? Then get set and go to the Ready, Set, Go event, even on pre-owned at Arlington Toyota. That's all makes, all models, all colors, shapes, and sizes, all specially priced during the Ready, Set, Go event at Arlington Pre-Owned. Plus, our friends over at Arlington give you 30 days to love your pre-owned purchase or exchange it. With over 400 pre-owned on the lot, you better get Ready, Set, Go to Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. Shop in person and online at arlingtontoyota.com.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. The IRS just rolled out a new program to help struggling taxpayers more easily resolve their tax problems. It's called the Taxpayer Relief Initiative, and it opens up powerful new options for people looking to get back on the right track with the IRS. And no one knows this program like the professionals at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution company. They've resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients and have the expertise and experience to help you. One easy call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries of wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Make today the beginning of your fresh start with the IRS. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief now for your free confidential consultation.
Call 800-337-4548. That's 800-337-4548. 800-337-4548.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
ESPN 690 and Action Sports Jacks presents Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau.
We're going to have to show a little more patience than the year 2 pom-pom people.
Casey Kurtz.
Yo! What are we doing, bro? Come on!
And Aaron Schachter.
I'm all in favor of these two showing their love, really celebrating their relationship.
Get him! Get him! Get him! Hit him! Hit him! Yeah! Boom! Jack! Boom! Yeah! Boom! Jack! Boom!
This is Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau, Casey Kurtz, and Aaron Schachter on Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. ESPN 690.
Hey, how we doing on that March Madness bracket? We're a week away. We having a contest?
They're working on it. I think it'll be ready in a day or two.
Well, we don't need it ready until next Sunday. Just checking.
Hard at work.
Hard at work. If you need me to do anything, let me know. I'm good at delegating, too, though.
That's true. I feel like that's how this whole thing got started.
Yes. Delegator, but I do pay. I will pay.
Yeah. We were actually
Especially
talking
if we really
about
need things done.
We were talking about your pension to pay. We were having a couple of Brent Martineau conversations during Sundays on Monday, Brent. You were
really?
Conspicuously absent from Sundays on Monday today.
Don't worry. I just made coffee, and if we had more time in the break, I was going in there to grab the whipped cream.
Well, I was talking to them because the word is out on the whipped cream.
Yeah, I know.
Bob is out here spreading the word to everyone who will listen. If you see Martineau skulking around the break room, hold the whipped cream near and dear to your heart. Protect it at all costs, says Bob.
Yeah. Well, by the way, they should feel, I mean, is there anybody around here that likes whipped cream more than me? No. So they should at least
they got to make the star happy is what I said.
Yeah.
And then Jimmy is talking to me about the bananas, our big boss.
Yeah.
And I was like, bananas have a lot of merch, but they don't got nothing on my friend Brent Martineau. Brent Martineau's got 8 different kinds of hats, 5 different kinds of shirts. I've gotten at least a pair of socks from Brent since I joined this show. I've got jackets. I've got hoodies. I am all decked out in Martineau gear. And they don't get it. They think you're buying the cheap stuff, Brent.
Yeah, it's
they
good
don't know.
stuff.
It's great stuff.
I'll get Jimmy some stuff.
You should.
Fine.
He wants it.
Probably
He's
should.
into it.
Probably should suck up to the big boss.
Well, in case the TV thing doesn't work out, at least the radio side likes it.
That's right. Well, I got to make sure.
I got to play both sides.
You got to at least make up for stealing the whipped cream with a gift or two.
Yeah, man.
After all, the whipped cream. How much is whipped cream these days? Probably a lot.
I mean, I imagine it's $20-$30 a can these days.
Once again, we've got a heck of a lineup. Football at 5 starting right now. We'll get into all the hot topics, including Calvin Ridley reinstated. 6 o'clock overtime with Kurtz and Middleton. It will just be Brian Middleton as Casey is out on his anniversary little vacation with Amanda. 7 o'clock, we debut No Gate Fees coming up tonight. High school baseball and softball will rank a Power 5 to start the year and also have committed to the uncommitted. Really excited about that. Presented by Nimnik Buick GMC. iCryo on board as well, as we're going to try to grow that scholarship program that we offered in the fall, and it's really a lot of fun to try to keep growing that for some of the kids in the area. And we'll have a central topic that we'll talk about each week, including gate fees at your kids' games. That won't be tonight's. That's just the name of the show, but that will be a topic at some point.
It's got to be a big show if it's the name of the show, and then you finally roll it out. It's got to be a big deal.
I debated between that or Stay and Play as the name of the show.
Okay.
Because that's another thing where you got to stay in certain hotels when you go on.
Really?
These
They
travel
lock you in?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The whole part of it. So we got some of those topics and others, the good and the bad of the youth sports world, and we talk about it, discuss it. It can be polarizing. And today's topic is, do high school sports still matter? Do they mean something? And that might be a different answer for different folks. I will tell you, it caught me by surprise, some of the high school stuff. And I'll tell you why, or some of my thoughts on it, but really want your thoughts, too, coming up tonight at 7 o'clock. And then 8 o'clock, it's the Coaches Show for Florida State as they play in the ACC tournament tomorrow on ESPN 690. In fact, I think they're going to push our show back a little bit in the opening round of the ACC tournament. FSU not very good this year, but you get one more chance to try and dance in the ACC tournament. And by the way, the ACC isn't very good this year. So maybe doors open if you go on a little bit of a run for anybody in the ACC. All right, back to the football stuff here on a Monday, which has been just hot and heavy. And do you think it's going to be like this all week?
I hope so. I love a good busy football.
Well, because here's the thing. The Combine, then you have the week, and then it's the non-tampering or the tampering, the legal tampering, which is the greatest
tampering,
term in sports. That happens a week from today, and then the league year starts at like 4 o'clock on Wednesday of next week. So all this other stuff is going to get done. And just think about some of the things that have transpired for the Jags. Calvin Ridley reinstated. Commish says, boom, no, you're good. All right, Jags have Calvin Ridley. Now he can join the Jags, join the team, welcome aboard. Statements issued today. Can't wait to have him. Look forward to involving him in our plans. Calvin Ridley says, hey, I had to pay for my mistake. Can't wait to join the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's been awesome on social media. Really fun. We talked a lot about it. And Calvin Ridley is a part of this offense that looks like Trevor, an offensive line with a lot of continuity. ETN, Evan Ingram, who got tagged today officially, Zay Jones, Christian Kirk, Calvin Ridley. Wow, that is a good offense. That is the headline of the day. To know that he's reinstated. We've talked about it before. What kind of difference can he make? But Calvin Ridley being reinstated to the Jags is the headline of the day because now you can officially see it on paper. And this is not just a topic in Jacksonville, Aaron. This is a topic around the National Football League. You're seeing the names Trevor, Etienne, Ridley, Ingram, Jones, and Kirk. Those 6 as weapons for Doug Peterson and Trevor in this offense. They are being tweeted out, a list of 6 names with those guys on it in Jacksonville, and people are like, whoa, it's about to get real in Jacksonville. That's the national perception of the Calvin Ridley reinstatement.
Oh, it should be. If Christian Kirk can duplicate or come close to what he did last year, same with Zay Jones, same with Evan Ingram, and then you add Calvin Ridley, who, let's hope he doesn't take a step backwards with the year off of football, almost essentially 2 years off of football. But if he can play anywhere close to the expectation, you might be talking about the literal best receiving group in all of football.
I still don't know if we spend enough time talking about how good of a move it was for Calvin Ridley. I loved it. I've been here 15 years covering the Jags. Jags have made some nice moves. Jags have done some things we agree with, don't agree with. You hope works. All these they've actually gambled a little bit. A lot of times hasn't worked. But that's in free agency or the draft, like trading up to get Blaine Gabbert. Didn't work. Tyson Alualu, gamble, didn't work to the degree that everybody wanted it to. Actually was a very nice player for the Jags. Some of the other things that they tried, Blake Bortles surprised people. Worked and didn't work. Free agency has worked and hasn't worked. This is a move that I thought was one of the most creative, kind of outside the box, a little out of left field that it was even happening. And I was like, whoa. That's awesome. November 1st it happened, and now we get the fruits of it here on March 6th and really going into 2023 in this football season. Hell of a move for Trent Baalke. Again, one of the most creative and I think low-risk moves, worth the risk moves, the Jacksonville Jaguars organization has ever made, and Trent Baalke made it in November. And now we get to see it unfold. Officially.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
And it's going to be exciting. No matter what way it slides, it's going to be exciting.
But I just don't think we talk about that part enough. Like,
but
why
the surprise attack
more people doing
part?
Why weren't more people doing that?
I don't think they knew he was available or even were thinking about Ridley. Out of sight, out of mind. You talk about that a lot of times, too. I just think Trent Baalke was paying attention when others weren't. And you could say the same thing about the search that landed them with Doug. The Jags were paying attention when the other franchises just weren't. They didn't have their eye on the ball, and they lose out because of it.
Anyway, I just think it's great. I think it's such a there's a chance it doesn't work. And you know what? I won't blame Trent Baalke for it. I'm fine with it. I'm going to tell you right now, you can go back and save this show, 5/12, on March 6th, the Monday, 2023. If it doesn't work for Trent Baalke, I'm not holding him to, and killing him for it.
Well, he didn't have to give up a ton for it. Why would you?
Well, that is true. If it doesn't pan out, or if they don't extend him, then he really doesn't have to give up much. If they do extend him, then you got to give up a second-round pick. That's a pretty lofty pick, but still, you're fine with it, right?
Yeah, if you're extending him, then it worked.
Because it's working. The one thing that is interesting now on the Calvin Ridley front, hasn't played in a couple years. We know that part. The red flags of, did I want to even play anymore when I was in Atlanta, the gambling stuff, I can put up with that. Some people will say the one that really catches their attention and concerns them a little bit is his age. He's actually going to be 29 when the season starts.
Yeah.
He's not like he's 26 when you're making this move and you're going to have him for X amount of years. Like, the Jags could just have him for a year. Or maybe it's a 3-year deal after that. But, I mean, once you get to, 32, receiver age.
You're fine. He's got a year or two on the sideline. He's got time to make up. You're fine.
Seriously, though, then if you want to look long-term, this thing works out really well, even if he plays well 1 year. But it really works out if he plays well for about 3 years.
Yeah, 3 or 4 years, you got a real steal.
Yeah, that's really where it
Let me ask you this, not to get too far.
I just love the move. I love the creativity of it. It was awesome.
Not to put the cart too far ahead of the horse for the second time this show, but
we do that every show.
What happens if Ridley has a good year, so you extend him, and then you get to the end of the season, and Zay Jones and Christian Kirk had similar years again, and you got to do something with these contracts? Because theoretically, if you aren't going to tag Evan Ingram again, and you're going to work out some deal with him, so now you're paying Ridley and Ingram, you've probably got room left to pay one more of those receivers as opposed to both, especially if you're going to extend or restructure Trevor.
That's a really good question. I think these are good questions that you bring up about any part of the roster. And I'll go back to Jawan Taylor. People are going to get mad if Jawan Taylor walks. I think it could pay off for the Jags because I think this is what you're supposed to do. Walker Little, you draft, you move him over, boom, he's cheaper, and now you see what happens. And hopefully you drafted well, and it looks like Walker Little's a good player. So, bam, happens. Now what they need to do, Aaron, in the next 2 years is go find young receivers. They went the free agent route, and now what you have to do is find young receivers for Trevor, unless you're going to continuously pay and trade for him or extend him. But your point's not a wrong one. That's why they need to find a tight end, probably a young one, depending on what happens with Ingram. Are they going to reach an extension? Could he be gone after next year? Is there a cheaper option if you get a young talent at 24 in the second round or somewhere else?
Or is it more affordable to pay 2 pass-catching tight ends than it would be to pay 2 pass-catching wide receivers?
Maybe, and have one receiver.
Especially in Doug's offense.
So those are good questions, and the answer to those questions usually reside in draft and develop. And if they can do that, that's how you sustain it. But sooner or later, you're going to have to get younger at the wide receiver position because younger means cheaper. And that's what you're going to have to do. Other big stories around the National Football League, around the Jags, really. So Ridley, Evan Ingram tagged. Now he even tweeted, glad to be back in Jacksonville. Love it here. Now let's hope we can get an extension done. That will be the plan. Jags have until the summer to do it. We know the next move on that. Jawan Taylor, coming out of the combine, there's certainly a lot of conversation that Jawan Taylor is going to be highly coveted, worth a lot of money. And doesn't it just make sense if you're the agent to stop negotiating with the Jags and hit the free agent market?
Totally.
Absolutely. Can the Jags stop that? Can they prevent that? Does Jawan Taylor not want that to happen? I don't think so. I think Jawan Taylor's headed toward free agency, and Jawan Taylor's not going to be a Jag. Earlier comments in the show from me that I think it might actually benefit the Jags in the long haul to not be tied up in those kind of dollars with Jawan Taylor, especially since they have Walker Little, even though I really like Jawan Taylor as a player, and I can see why they wanted him back. Derrick Henry. Let's get to some tweets. We'll lead off with this one, and we'll have a big question for you at the end of these 3 tweets, but they're all like Jacksonville or former Jacksonville guys related. Derrick Henry being shopped around by the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, that's the first one from Pro Football Talk. We talked about it a little bit earlier today. Derrick Henry on the shopping block, not the chopping block, the shopping block. Derrick Henry possibly being moved from the Titans. Brent, before we get to the triple-headed question, I'm just curious to hear, is this the beginning of the end? Is this the official beginning of the end for the Tennessee Titans as we know them when they've got Derrick Henry on the shopping block?
Yeah, I think it is. I think that is the move, right? It's not Tannehill. It's not anything else. The move that we wondered about, because you could keep Derrick Henry. You could go get Aaron Rodgers or some quarterback, and you could go get DeAndre Hopkins and say, we're all in and we're going to try to win again this year right now. Or you could take money off the books, get value and trade compensation most likely for Derrick Henry, and say, we got to blow this thing up. We got to rebuild it. We got to retool it. We're not good enough. And I think that's the way the Titans are going if they make this move. Can they make this move? Will they make this move? I guess that's the second leg of it. The other conversation point I have is, how do Titans feel about it? Because this guy is really a beloved central figure in Nashville, Tennessee, as he should be. Sure. I mean, he is really giving them an identity.
He's the king.
Moments. King Henry about to be shipped out, potentially. Man, it's just weird to see teams not want good players anymore. I get the business side of it. I understand why they're doing it. It's just so weird. And he is still a good player that has, I think, probably another couple of years of really, really good play in the NFL.
The second part to the 3-part question here we'll go to around the NFL says, with the Los Angeles Rams retooling the roster after that brutal Super Bowl hangover season, Jalen Ramsey now available for trade. Adam Schein provides his 9 favorite landing spots in this tweet.
9 of them.
Spoiler alert.
9 of them. Hey, why don't you just name all 32? Adam?
Right, exactly.
I mean, come on.
Here's my list of the top 32 teams Jalen Ramsey can go to this year.
It's like being picked in the top 10, maybe even higher.
My question for you, Brent, similar to the King Henry question. Obviously, the Rams tearing it down because of the post-Super Bowl hangover, but is this the actual opening of the garage sale in Los Angeles when they ditched Jalen?
Yeah, I think so. I think they're already on that, and they probably could go all in on that, but maybe this is going to be a measured approach in that regard. I mean, if they were to get rid of Aaron Donald, then it's really a see you later, right?
This is one part of the Rams equation I don't really understand. The guy was retired last year. So how is he then holding on for next year?
Yeah, I think that was probably not either as close to it reported or maybe it was more ploy, right?
Maybe, because the reports were that Sean McVay was calling up Aaron Donald, begging him to come back.
Here's a question about Jalen Ramsey. I get Brian Sexton, who keeps calling me to renew my Jaguar season tickets each and every day, which I appreciate hearing his voice. He said this a couple years ago, and this always resonated with me, so I give him credit for it. And he said he's going to be like Deion Sanders, where he's going to play on multiple teams in his career.
Going to the Hall of Fame with a multicolored jacket.
Still great, acknowledged greatness, but also a guy that doesn't stick in the same place. So is Jalen bouncing around more business move or more that's the way Jalen's going to be? He's going to go to another team for about 3 years, and then he's going to end up on another team. When it's all said and done, how many teams does Jalen Ramsey play for?
Does it matter? I think it matters.
I don't really think it matters. It's just
you don't think it matters.
It's interesting where listen, a guy like Calais Campbell, who you wouldn't pen to be like that or have some personality conflicts or whatever, he still ended up playing for at least 3 teams. So it's not abnormal to play for 3 teams. But Jalen, who I think is going into year 8, would play for 3 teams in 8 years as the best corner in the National Football League. You don't usually just give up those pieces.
Yeah, usually you're just on the same team or 1 or 2 teams.
So I wonder how many he plays for in his career. And I guess right now, if he plays for a third, he's tracking 5.
What about sports psychology here, though, Brent? These guys who become athletes and get acclimated to the adulation, the recognition, some people think that they need that, right? These guys struggle after retirement because they struggle to define who they are. And it's in the legacy that I think a lot of these guys will thrive post-retirement. But for these players who don't have this long-standing relationship with a specific fan base, I think the legacy part is a bit of a struggle.
Yeah, I do. I also think this happens in our business too, We call it, buddy, we call it action. When there feels like there's stuff going on, right? There's movement, people moving. And this is kind of weird place for me. In my career in this business, 99, I got out of college. I go to Louisiana. 6 months later, I'm in Providence. 2 years later, I'm in Albany. 5 years later, I'm in Jacksonville.
Look at you,
and now I haven't
commodity.
gone, right? So now I haven't gone anywhere. Well, it was almost it was fun to be on the move.
Well, especially when you don't have a family you're dragging with you.
Well, I did, though. But, it's fun.
Well, that's not the fun part.
No, that's probably why I've been here now 15 years and not moving anywhere, right? Fire me tomorrow, even for stealing the whipped cream, and I'm still staying here. But
you're getting fired on the whipped cream.
But you get what I'm saying. This in this business. people itch 2-3 years. Okay, let me go put a resume tape out there, right? Well, I get that might be even with Jalen a little bit. It's hey, I won a Super Bowl. I got a big contract. I keep making Pro Bowls. What's next? I'm bored. I need the next thing.
That's not on him. Him getting released or traded isn't on him. He's not asking for this stuff.
Did he kind of hint he might have asked, or is there kind of rumblings okay, I see what you guys are doing. I want
he asked out here.
But he's tweeted a little bit okay. I think he even at the end of the year tweeted, "This might be my final game."
Yeah, I think he's just aware of the financial situation.
Is he though, or is he want some more juice? He wants some of that action, and that's my point. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying I think some people like to settle in, but until you really settle in, you kind of like the movement. And you're what am I chasing next? What is Jalen chasing next? He's won a Super Bowl. He's a 6-time a Pro Bowler, 7-time Pro Bowler, 3-time, 4-time All-Pro. What is there left to chase? I need something to keep me going. I need something to fill me up.
Legacy.
And it might be a new city. It might be a new team. It might be a new experience.
Hall of Fame.
I kind of get it. Yeah, but he's got to wait for that.
Yeah. He's got to earn it, too.
In a weird way.
Is he
doesn't
there yet?
really have a lot more to accomplish to do that. Yeah, he's already a Hall of Famer, arguably. Now, that's debatable because of the length of his career. But if he plays 3 more years, he's a no-doubt Hall of Famer, right?
Okay.
So what is he chasing? So I kind of get it. I get why, all right, let's go try something else. I mean, everybody say, hey, you're making $100 million. It's easy just to chill out in L.A. and play ball, right, for the next 8 years. Nah, maybe it's not.
Well, then let's pivot to the third prong of the question, because I'm curious to see if you feel the same way about this guy. Here's another guy who's on his third team, and by all looks, he's going to be on his fourth team to start next season. We're talking about Allen Robinson. Tom Pelissero tweeting, the Rams have given Allen Robinson's agents permission to seek a trade. L.A. willing to pay a portion of his $15.25 million guaranteed salary to facilitate the deal. I guess the story really here is that weeks ago, they started looking for trade partners for Allen Robinson, and the Rams just were not able to make it work. They've now told the agents for Allen Robinson, your turn. You guys figure it out.
Yeah, and this is totally different than Ramsey, because this is, listen, Allen, you didn't earn the $15 million, right? I mean, you didn't earn the contract. You really didn't play that well for a bunch of different reasons. And he probably needs a change of scenery, and his market has certainly gone down. He kind of needs to revitalize his career a little bit. Because what was happening, he was fine in Chicago, but the last year in Chicago, married with this year in L.A., and I love Allen Robinson.
Was he fine in Chicago? I mean, outside of, I think, his first year there, it was pretty disappointing.
No, well, especially the last year. But again, he had a lot of excuses, too. I mean, they're terrible, right?
Yeah.
And so they needed more around him more than he needed to do more. Bottom line is, I asked this question. Which one would the Jags would you like to have? Is it obvious that it's Ramsey?
Next year's team.
Yeah, so you got Allen Robinson, former Jag, Jalen Ramsey, former Jag, and you got Jacksonville's Derrick Henry. This year's team, who are you bringing in?
This is funny. So
it's easy. It's Jalen, right? Or is it not?
No, I don't think it is. I actually think you could do great work with all three of those guys. I don't think any one of them takes away from the team. I think if I had to rank them in order of making the offense or defense that much more unstoppable, I'd put Henry first.
Really?
Then Ramsey, then Robinson.
I do think A-Rob is third on this list, and I think everybody would agree with that because, again, you're kind of set at wide receiver.
I mean, Ramsey's fine. You're locking down the secondary between him and Tyson Campbell, and then you've got guys like Cisco, Rayshon Jenkins back there, Darius Williams still on the team. That is a big secondary. You're probably forcing some coverage sacks out of that secondary.
The question about Ramsey, the obvious answer is Ramsey because they're down a corner in Jacksonville, right? It's like you need a corner,
but
and
you
get a shutdown
Derrick
corner.
Henry, and you don't need to rush him 300 times a year, if you could keep him fresh every time he touches that rock 6.5 yards on this team, oh my goodness! And then you got ETN as an X factor.
The problem with Ramsey is locker room wise, this is an awesome locker room.
Yeah.
And do you wonder if he upsets that in any way, shape, and form? Again, this is an exhibition we're having.
You think any of the guys in there don't like either? He's probably liked by those guys.
Respected.
Yeah.
But it can go sour in a hurry, I think, with a guy like Jalen.
And it has.
Now, I also think Jalen's really matured from his time in Jacksonville. I believe that. So I think him fitting in locker rooms and stuff is not as big an issue as we're going to probably voice it and say it, and sometimes because what we remember in Jacksonville. So I think he's probably okay. But I do think you'd wonder about it. Is the curiosity, is the fit. The play to me would be yeah, you really need that. The interesting thing about Derrick Henry is if you really did try to back him off the amount of carries he gets, it would be interesting to add to it. Because remember, the Eagles and Doug Peterson won with LeGarrette Blount in the backfield.
Yeah.
And that big back. But then are you minimizing ETN's touches, or are you just
only touchdowns?
Or is he just a fresh?
Only touchdowns. You don't even have to.
And the Jags were not good on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1.
Yes. And ETN is only carrying the ball 20 times a game when he had to anyway. Now you don't even need to do it. Now you give him 15 carries a game. Throw him 10 passes a game. Give Derrick Henry 20 carries a game and make almost all of them in 3rd and short and 4th and short situation.
You're not
goal line.
You're not getting, and I didn't see who just chimed in on Twitter, but they said Derrick Henry wears people down. I understand that, but I still think he can be used in a lesser role and still be very effective. I get what you're saying about that. I don't think he's I think James Robinson really is that guy. He's got to wear people down, get 18 to 22 touches. I'm not sure Derrick has to have 22 touches to be effective. Also, Derrick in the screen game, Derrick 3rd and 1, Derrick 4th and 1. The problem with Derrick is he's more of a star still.
He commands more touches.
He commands more touches, and so you wouldn't have enough touches to go around. But if he were to accept the role, just in this kind of exercise and fun game we're playing, the Derrick Henry stuff really is fascinating.
How interesting. You're so worried about touches with Derrick Henry, but when it comes to Ridley, Kirk, Jones, and Ingram, and ETN, you're like, oh, there's enough touches to go around.
Well, there mostly is, but they're both of those guys. We believe in Jacksonville that Ingram and especially Zay Jones are going to lose some touches because of Ridley.
Do you believe Ingram's going to lose touches? They just threw a chunk of money at him.
Yeah, but I don't think he's going to get as many targets because Ridley will steal some of them. And I really think Zay Jones will become more of a role guy, kind of in the Marvin Jones role than he was this year's role. Because you don't have enough to go around.
Yeah, sure.
But from an offensive standpoint, if you look at where the Jags struggled, they struggled in the power run game and on short yardage situations. 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, they weren't very good. Derrick Henry in the screen game. ETN in the screen. Imagine putting ETN and Derrick Henry in the game at the same time and screening one to each side. And who the hell are you supposed to guard? Now, that might be impossible. It might be illegal to do it, but it would just be fun at least in like Madden.
They'll double cover both those guys. Suddenly, Trev's going 70 yards downfield to Calvin Ridley. That's a wrap.
This was just a fun exercise, people. We don't really think any of it's happening.
It's happening.
Jalen Ramsey and Derrick Henry to Jacksonville.
Everybody's coming.
I can tell you one guy. Jalen Ramsey to Jacksonville ain't happening.
No, of course not. None of these guys are coming. Maybe.
No, none of, you're right. None of them are coming. That was fun, at least, to think about it. We'll be back. Football at 5 continues on ESPN 690.
Now, the first alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Fair to partly cloudy skies and mild tonight with some fog late as temperatures drop into the low 60s. A very warm Tuesday with record or near record highs in the mid to upper 80s. For the CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jack's First Alert Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds. Now get 0% interest for 5 years with nothing down.
Rich Jones here. If you're an investor who's interested in doing well while doing good, getting solid returns on your investments while making a positive impact, consider investment funds with DLP Capital. Here's Don Winter, CEO of DLP Real Estate Capital, to tell you more.
With the current housing shortage in the U.S., investing in real estate, especially workforce housing, is one of the safest and most reliable places to invest. We invest in affordable housing for hardworking people and generate amazing returns for each of our investors.
To get your investor's guide and find out more, dial ** Invest from your cell phone or visit highyieldreturns.net.
We're dealing at Best Bet St. Augustine, the only card room and sports bar in St. Augustine, Florida. With nonstop action, poker games of all limits, exciting tournaments and table games, and a sports bar showing all the action, Best Bet St. Augustine has you covered. Don't miss our delicious dining options, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and our always popular freshly made sushi. Best Bet St. Augustine is located at 800 Marketplace Drive off exit 311, where I-95 and State Road 207 meet. Learn more at bestbetjacks.com.
Discover how good your water can be with the new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. Connecticut's twin tank non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available, and their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. This month, you can trade in any brand water softener and receive $750 towards a new Connecticut Premier Series softener. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and provide solutions that are right for you and your family. Imagine having clean, clear, purified water at your home. No more plastic bottles, no more waste, just great tasting, purified water that you can trust. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. That's 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. Financing options available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1428211.
As a business owner, wouldn't it be nice if you could eliminate all the waste on advertising to people who just aren't ready to buy from you? What if you could spend your marketing dollars talking solely to people who are ready to buy a product you sell? Cox Media Group has a very large database to help you reach those exact people. Cox Media Group offers a program called Omni-Channel that starts with an email to your ideal customer who's ready to buy now, and then once they open the email, they will start seeing your message on Facebook and through display ads and video ads. Let us answer any questions you have by heading to cmg.com to find out more. That's cmg.com.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching your kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, trunk lids, license plate holders, and headlights. They've got lots of headlights. When you need parts, get it right the first time with eBay Guaranteed Fit. When you see the check, you know that part's gonna fit. eBay Motors. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
It can be dangerously easy to steal your identity during tax season because so much sensitive info is all together.
Before we start the annual meeting of Sean's personal info, has anyone seen Social Security number?
Not me.
Nope. Nuh-uh. Oh no. He's been stolen.
LifeLock by Norton makes it easy to help protect yourself. If you become a victim, we'll work to fix it. No one can monitor all transactions, but you can save up to 25% off your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Identity theft protection starts here.
Bundling and saving with Geico is an easy choice, so you're free to ponder life's big questions, like what's the best animal in the world if not humans? I'd strongly consider ducks to be somewhere up there on the list. Think about it. Ducks can swim, ducks can fly, and ducks can walk on land. They have access to all terrains. They are the ultimate animal. And they wiggle their butts when they walk, which is funny. Yeah, ducks are awesome. End of story. Bundling and saving with Geico. It's an easy choice.
What do you mean he went searching for fresher powder? We have full classes today.
Instructor down at Vesper Ski School.
Toward each other to snowplow, honey, not away.
She needs more ski instructors to slalom through the day-to-day.
Pizza? Fries? Whoa, Braley, no! Pizza!
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe. You can watch us on CBS 47 and Fox 30. You can listen right here on ESPN 690. And you can subscribe to our YouTube and podcast, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe. Oh, the show is flying by today here on a Monday. What a day.
Love it.
You miss Casey?
You know what? If I'm being real,
you do.
I kind of miss Casey, but only because I give him such a hard time every day. I really look forward to it.
I know. Kind of feels like something's missing. You don't want to give me that kind of hard time.
Well, you don't deserve it, Brent. You're a good person. Like, Casey's a real, true OG piece of garbage. He really deserves everything I give to him.
It's terrific. He's in some treehouse right now in like South Carolina, I guess.
This is how much I love annoying Casey. I saw a picture posted of him recently by his love, Amanda. It wasn't a flattering picture. So I screen capped it and blew it way up. And I can't wait until the next time he says something goofy to me. I'm going to send it to him as a reaction gift. It's going to be
awesome. That's great.
It is really embarrassing. Can't wait.
Hey, appreciate everybody jumping in the chat today on YouTube. And so you're trying to find anybody. I suppose Jags are not in the Derrick Henry sweepstakes, says Gabriel. I don't think so.
I don't think so either. You'd want him to be.
Need a tight end, wide receiver, running back, and OL in the draft. Not in that order and doesn't have to be in the first rounds of the draft. I would say tight end, I don't think wide receiver.
Nah.
I don't think running back. Maybe. OL, though, and D-end and corner. Why didn't I Am Legend say corner? We talk about the Jags here? Am I jumping in the wrong part of the conversation?
I think you're in the right
part. We need corner. Corner's got to be a part of the draft, no doubt. All right, hey, speaking of, Mel Kiper had his NFL Combine risers. I thought this was an interesting article.
Yeah.
So real quick, Marvin Mims, wide receiver. I'm going to leave him off the board. Nolan Smith, the Georgia linebacker, who the Jags aren't taking another linebacker, I don't think, but he was terrific. You talk about a guy that really pushed his stock up. Everybody talks about Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
Nolan Smith was electric.
And coming off that ugly pec injury, Jeff Lageman once told me the story when he was playing for the Jets. When he had that thing kind of roll up on him like a what did he say, like a window blind. It's just,
that's not pretty.
Oh, it just sounds so painful. But good to see Nolan Smith bouncing back.
Yeah, another Georgia guy who you think would project well. Jackson Smith and Jigba, wide receiver for Ohio State. Riser coming off the hamstring injury. Again, Jags aren't. I don't see the Jags playing a role in early wide receivers. Why would they?
It's just the cost is too high on these guys too.
They have enough holes to fill in their depth department instead of trying to do what we were just talking about the last segment and replacing for the future in this year's draft. I think that will be like a next year's draft type of thing. Brian Breesy, the DT from Clemson. Now that could be somebody.
This is interesting because a lot of people love Brian before the combine. I'm seeing people in the chat who want this guy drafted, but some folks, not Mel Kiper, obviously, some folks felt Brian Breesy might have hurt himself more than he helped himself. I thought it was an interesting juxtaposition between some of the other analysts I read versus what Mel was saying. But
I think the biggest thing is he's healthy.
Yeah, and Mel liked his workout too, yeah.
It's an interesting story because he had last year dealt with the death of his sister and a kidney infection.
Yeah.
So he's had a lot of adversity, and he'll be an interesting one to watch. Stetson Bennett.
Your guy on the list, Stetson Bennett.
Did well. Can throw it. He
Very
ran
accurate.
well.
He threw a very accurate deep ball.
You know, Mel brings up the public intoxication. He says didn't help his stock in the eyes of front office execs. Well, of course. I mean, not too many people can go get a public intoxication arrest, and it helps your stock.
Who is the drunk kid? We need more of those guys.
We want to like more of these guys. I also don't know if it will really hurt his stock, considering nobody ever thought the guy would be the quarterback at Georgia, and he won 2 national titles.
Yeah.
Go drink it up a little bit, kid.
Yeah.
Who's 26, by the way, and a grown man. It's not underage, that's for sure.
Old enough to be drinking whiskey at these parades.
DJ Turner, cornerback, Michigan.
There's a name.
Now, that's one that you should circle, right? This is one, I like this, where Mel says, I'm not afraid to admit, I need to go back to the tape on a prospect. I want to rewatch Turner's past 2 seasons because he hasn't been ranked among my top 10 corners. I had him in the early day 3 range headed into the week, but he's going to rise now thanks to a 4.26 second 40.
Wow. Jeez.
4.26.
He's flying.
Here's the thing. He's 5'11", 178 pounds.
A little slight of frame right there.
Yeah, that seems unlikely. Adebawore from the
Can I buy a
from
vowel?
Northwestern. Yes, you can. We'll probably get that guy because we have the all name team here in Jacksonville quite a bit.
You need pass rush, but I'm not sure if it's going to be this cat right here.
So, again, very good numbers at the combine. Go back and watch the tape type stuff. Jartavius Martin, here's a DB. Safeties really did not impress on Friday, says Mel. I'll highlight Martin is 11'1" broad jump, 44-inch vertical.
You think the Jags will fill out safety at all in the draft?
They could go get some depth in safety. They could.
I thought this was like a late round target.
Keep in mind, Rayshon Jenkins, after this year, is he done?
Yeah.
Possibility. Well, go back to Mel on the DJ Turner kid.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a first round or second round guy, most likely. The kid that flew it from Michigan, right? 4.26.
Yeah.
Well, why not middle round guy? Why not take a flyer on him? Like that could be a thing. So we're talking about guys that they might be rising up boards, but not necessarily meaning in the first round to 24. That's what I like about this. Not all of them. Now, Will Mallory, tight end out of Providence. Obviously, Jacksonville kid, played at Miami. South Beach Gary will like it. Ran fastest 40-yard dash of any of the tight ends. 4.54. And surprised scouts with a 36.5-inch vertical. Outstanding numbers. Played in 59 games. I like that.
This would be another late-round
games.
pick for the Jaguars if selected, right?
Yeah, and a decent, I wouldn't say a late bloomer, but middle-round selection that could blossom into something.
Like a 4th or 5th rounder?
Yeah, that's what Mel's saying. That'd be cool. Be an interesting thing. His dad, of course, was a special teams coach and assistant special teams coach in Jacksonville for a very long time. And the last one on Mel's board was C.J. Stroud. We don't need to pay attention.
Would you be let down if it ended up being Mallory instead of one of these other names we've been talking about at tight end?
No, I don't mind. First of all, we'll see how they fall, right? Where the tight ends fall. Casey is in love with Darnell Washington.
Sure.
You know the thing about Darnell Washington to me, and I said this in our sports office yesterday, then I think I saw Gigantor and Jack's tweet it as well, and he said he kind of lumbers. And yeah, he does. Mercedes Lewis did that too. It looks kind of funny. It's not an eloquent thing. He's just a big man running, you know?
Mercedes is all arms and legs too.
But it can be really effective. Did you go back and look? If you can find the Twitter video of Darnell Washington, somebody put a compilation together, and they said, watch Darnell Washington on the sled, and then watch the other tight ends.
Yeah.
And it's this, so they're pushing this big sled, right?
Yeah.
And Darnell Washington's like, boom, 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 like just pushes it like whatever, 8 feet, 10 feet. The other dude's like running in place trying to push it.
Not going anywhere, yeah.
It's like hardly going anywhere. It was really kind of funny. And I wonder if Washington, how good he's going to be at this next level as a tight end. But he might be a guy that, if it doesn't work out, actually transitions to the offensive line.
And by the way, isn't that the kind of tight end you're looking for this year? Well, if you're not bringing back Manhurts.
If that could be the case. Like, I think Casey gets blown away. Like, Casey's got too high expectations in the pass game for this guy, although he did make a hell of a grab at the combine.
Yeah.
But I think he's more blocking tight end and then work on the passing. I think. Like, he might start where Mercedes finished his career, or has finished his career really the last 10 years, where he's just a better blocking guy and an occasional catch guy.
If you had to put a number on it, 0 to 10, what number are you assigning a blocking tight end? What number are you assigning pass-catching tight end in terms of where you think the Jaguars have need in the draft?
That's a good question.
Because I would go like 7 at a blocking tight end, even though it's just filled with a bunch of these high-end pass-catching tight ends. Not that those guys couldn't help, especially in a Doug offense, but is it what you need right now?
Like, would you hate, let's just say 24 or whatever, Darnell Washington gets picked and they like him.
Yep.
Or maybe he's a second-round guy. Would you hate in the 5th round if they got Will Mallory too?
No, not at all.
Guy that can move?
No.
I wouldn't. I mean, they really don't have a room. I mean, they got Luke Farrell, who I think they like, but as it sits right now, they've got empty spots.
But if a guy like Kincaid or whomever, Mayer, falls to 24 and you're picking that instead of Washington, are you like, that's kind of not what we need right now?
Yeah, I don't mind tight end for the Jags at 24. I really don't. I don't think it's a massive need, though. I think I'd go defensive tackle. I think I'd go corner. Heck, even if you love an edge guy that fell before tight end and pick the tight end. I think there's enough of them. But I'd probably be excited if they got a tight end. The problem is I saw Dan Arnold catch 9 passes last year, and Evan Ingram's coming back. So why do I need a tight end?
You don't.
We'll be back on ESPN 690. Discover how good your water can be with the new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. Connecticut's twin-tank non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available, and their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. This month, you can trade in any brand water softener and receive $750 towards a new Connecticut Premier Series softener. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and provide solutions that are right for you and your family. Imagine having clean, clear, purified water at your home. No more plastic bottles, no more waste, just great tasting, purified water that you can trust. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. That's 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. Financing options available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1428211.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients. Today, Morgan & Morgan has more offices, more staff, and more lawyers than any other injury firm in the world.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Did you know that you have the power to positively impact a local child's life? It's as easy as donating to Daniel, Florida's oldest child service agency. Daniel provides counseling to abused children. Daniel helps homeless teens find shelter and learn to live independently. Daniel connects kids with foster families and strengthens at-risk families so they can stay together. They've done all this and more for 135 years. Please become a part of improving the lives of local children and families by donating at danielkids.org today.
CMG Jacksonville is looking for a new support team member. Do you have a passion for helping coworkers and helping the team win? Are you known as the best person in support? CMG Jacksonville is searching for a talented individual to join our team as an account manager. This position will require a committed person who will support the best media sales team in Jacksonville. If you're the best and think your talents will allow you to exceed with us, email jaxjobs@cmg.com. That's jaxjobs@cmg.com or call 245-8732.
Shop the Beaches Green Market this and every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Penman Park on Penman Road for fresh local fruits and vegetables, plants, meats, eggs, baked goods, honey, wellness products, and so much more. EBT cards welcome. Diglocal.org for more info.
Are you getting engaged? Celebrating an anniversary or birthday?
You're in luck. It's Beards Diamond's most exceptional finance offer of the year.
5 years, 0% financing with nothing down.
Yes, shop Beards Diamond's everyday low price on anything in the store or at beardsdiamonds.com.
Then divide your total price by 60, and that's your monthly payment with absolutely nothing down.
How about a $6,000 three-stone designer setting?
You pay only $100 a month.
Or a $4,500 one-carat diamond solitaire pendant necklace.
You pay just $75 a month.
And every purchase at Beard's Diamonds is backed by our free lifetime warranty.
Now you can go bigger
And get her the diamond ring she's always dreamed about.
and spread your payments out for 5 years and pay absolutely nothing in interest.
All GIA certified diamonds and lab-grown diamonds are included in this spectacular offer.
But hurry, Beard's Diamonds' incredible 5 years interest-free financing with nothing down is only available for a limited time.
Shop now at beardsdiamonds.com or the St. John's Town Center.
Don't buy anywhere until you shop Beard's Diamonds.
What's for dinner? Burgers?
After last week, no thanks.
Avoiding foods due to fear of diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools? It may not be just stomach issues. It could be EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency. EPI can cause uncomfortable symptoms because it's a condition where the pancreas doesn't release enough digestive enzymes to break down food. But EPI can be managed. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor about your symptoms. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
I had a nighttime routine for my frequent heartburn. I would drink milk, I would sleep upright with more pillows, but that painful burning stayed. So I made Prilosec OTC part of my morning routine. With just one pill each morning, Prilosec OTC prevents excess acid production, blocking heartburn day and night. Now I have a new nighttime routine. I call it sleeping.
One pill a day, 24 hours, zero heartburn. With Prilosec OTC. It's possible while taking Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Nice run. It's great being back out on the mountain. You sort of disappeared for a while. Everything okay? Between you and me, it was lower testosterone. Lower T? Yeah. The doc told me once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone, and that can make it harder to stay in shape. That's why I started taking Nugenix Total T. It's made a huge difference. Oh, I've seen that on TV. Is it for real? For sure. It's the #1 doctor-recommended testosterone booster. It boosts free and total testosterone levels to help you get back the drive and energy from your youth. My wife, my boss, my kids, everyone has noticed a change in me. Do they still give out complimentary bottles for people to try for themselves? Yes. Just send them a text.
Guys, text HATCH to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Nugenix is the #1 selling testosterone brand at GNC and Walmart. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back in shape fast, absolutely free. Text HATCH to 321-321. That's HATCH to 321-321.
Brent and Friends is sponsored by Best Bet, now open in St. Augustine.
Hey everybody, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. There's a good chance you have a smart speaker, so use it with ESPN 690. Stay up to date on the Jags and all things sports by telling Alexa or Google to play ESPN 690. It's as easy as that. Make sure you listen weekdays 3 until 6 p.m. on ESPN 690. Hi, we having some fun today. On a Monday, we got some news. I think we're going to keep getting news throughout the week when it comes to the NFL. NFL's going to steal the show, as it always does.
As they do.
They really do. Come on, this is the Players Week around here.
Players in the NFL.
How about the story on Ja Morant?
Wild, right?
I mean, do you think that's one of these cases where... I'll never forget Leonard Fournette saying he's got to watch the people that he hangs around with, right? There's like this loyalty to people he grew up with.
Yeah.
And
you want to remember who you are. Remember your roots.
Absolutely. And he kind of said, he's like, I've got to do a better job of who I'm hanging around with, those kind of things, which is hard to do, right? I mean, if you grew up with people or you're loyal to people, but you got to make good decisions for yourself in the spotlight and everything else. I'm wondering, and I don't know the Ja Morant situation as well. Obviously, we're seeing stories a couple of times this year, and now he's, taking a leave. Like, his reasoning is weird. Like, is that?
I don't think it was his reason, do you?
Well, yeah. Just like
whatever they said. Yeah,
I've got to learn and get better. All this stuff, right? Like, there's not really much to learn about, dude. Just make good decisions and don't be having like a gun
Stop flashing the gun on your Instagram.
On your Instagram, really? Like, what
especially
do we do?
after you just got accused of flashing a gun at a teenager.
I mean that.
Get it together.
I guess that's my point on Ja Morant. Like, a sensational basketball player. Does he have to investigate, and team has to investigate who he's hanging around with, and like his, or is this more on just him?
No, it's on him. It's not like he was coaxed to pull out the gun. It's not like he was hanging out with 3 guys on the Instagram and they all had guns out and they're having a good time. Ja was in the Instagram live by himself. Like, granted, there might have been other people in the room, but on camera, it was just him and his gun. He's holding up his gun, laughing, stoned or drunk or whatever he is, allegedly. And I don't think that's a I'm hanging out with the wrong people thing. I think that's a I'm not seeing clearly right now thing. I need to legitimately take a look at what I got going on in my life.
Yeah, and I don't know if that changes overnight, I guess is the point. Like, I don't think that does change overnight, but hopefully he surrounds himself with good people
You
and
don't
makes
think
some
you can
good
get
decisions.
scared straight?
Because, maybe. I would be if I'm him because he's a really good basketball player.
We should test it out. We should send KC downtown to the jail for a night, like the drunk tank, and then just keep checking in with him. Have him keep calling us. Collect. We'll accept the charges.
And see how he does.
I would love to see how he does. How do you think he would do? I think he would crumble.
Yeah, I don't know how I'd do either. I might crumble.
First time you realize you got to go to the bathroom, there's no door on that thing? Oh, boy. But John's really got to figure it out, man, because he is supremely talented.
Yeah, he really is. And I hate wasted talent, man. Don't get yourself into positions
And a
where
young cat.
you become a wasted talent. Yeah, he's a super young guy.
23.
Got a big career ahead of him. Florida State, by the way, plays against Georgia Tech in the opening round of the ACC tomorrow, 2 o'clock. You can hear it on ESPN 690. So, programming note, we won't go on until after that game, which could be right around 4 o'clock-ish.
On the radio.
On the radio side. I think we're planning on being on social media right at 3 o'clock.
Yeah, the hope
if
is
we can pull it off.
The hope is that we'll be on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch and Twitter and all that stuff like we normally are with our stream at 3 with the show, yeah. But the radio will start later, depending on the game.
All right. Big news for the Jags today. Calvin Ridley reinstated. More on that on CBS 47, Fox 30. Overtime with Kurtz and Middleton has that coming up next on deck here on ESPN 690. We have no gate fees debut. High school baseball, softball, committed to the uncommitted. Our central topic, do high school sports matter still? It's our debut show. Hope you can join us 7 o'clock tonight on ESPN 690. All the social media platforms as well. And a couple other news and notes. Evan Ingram tagged officially today for the Jags. Are the Jags starting to lose some steam on the Jawan Taylor return front? I feel like they are. Frank Clark becomes available. The Titans shopping Derrick Henry a bit. Derek Carr to the Saints. Oh, it's going to be a big week in the NFL. And by the way, the Players' Championship. The week is here. We'll be out there tomorrow at TPC Sawgrass. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for listening. Brent and Friends on ESPN 690.
We're dealing at Best Bet St. Augustine, the only card room and sports bar in St. Augustine, Florida. With nonstop action, poker games of all limits, exciting tournaments and table games, and a sports bar showing all the action, Best Bet St. Augustine has you covered. Don't miss our delicious dining options, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and our always popular freshly made sushi. Best Bet St. Augustine is located at 800 Marketplace Drive off exit 311, where I-95 and State Road 207 meet. Learn more at bestbetjacks.com.
Discover how good your water can be with the new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. Connecticut's twin tank non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available, and their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. This month, you can trade in any brand water softener and receive $750 towards a new Connecticut Premier Series softener. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and provide solutions that are right for you and your family. Imagine having clean, clear, purified water at your home. No more plastic bottles, no more waste, just great tasting, purified water that you can trust. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. That's 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. Financing options available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1428211.
Are you a real estate investor or have considered investing and want to know where you can put your money that offers solid returns and protects against market volatility? It's Rich Jones. I want to introduce you to DLP Capital, CEO and founder Don Wenner.
For more than a decade, DLP Capital has delighted our investors with consistent double-digit returns. Through the smart, conservative real estate investment strategy our company is built on, we have been able to achieve this with monthly distributions and tax shelters so our investors can keep more of their returns.
Dial **invest on your cell phone or visit highyieldreturns.net.
Do you feel a calling to help others? You can change a local child's life by becoming a foster parent through Daniel. You'll receive training, 24/7 support, and compensation to cover the cost for the child's needs and your time. To qualify, you must be over 21, pass a background check, receive training, and have a caring heart. Foster parent classes are starting soon, so please call Daniel at 296-1055. That's 296-1055, or visit danielkids.org.
Guys, fellas, men, are you Roman ready for the weekend? Right now, generic Viagra, aka Sildenafil, is just $4 per dose at Roman. Just complete a free online visit with a U.S. licensed healthcare professional. If medication is appropriate, Roman sends what you need in discreet packaging with free 2-day shipping. Generic Viagra from $4 at Roman. Go to ro.co/Viagra. Do it today and get 20% off your entire first order. That's ro.co/Viagra.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Police in Colorado say they're investigating Grizzly star Ja Morant's actions from the weekend after he posted an Instagram live video in which he displayed what appears to be a gun while at a nightclub. The department's investigating whether Morant may have broken any gun laws. He's away from the team as the NBA conducts its investigation. The Saints are signing quarterback Derek Carr. He's reunited with Saints coach Dennis Allen, his former head coach with the Raiders. That's just one reason Carr is a good match with New Orleans, says ESPN's Herm Edwards.
Head coach knows who he's getting. He drafted him, so he understands what Derek Carr not only brings playing quarterback, but what he's going to bring in the locker room. And we're talking about all these quarterbacks going to different places, but remember, a quarterback has to lead your football team. He understands his personality. His personality fits with this locker room that he has.
Carr's deal reportedly potentially worth up to $150 million over 4 years. Ravens Executive Vice President Ozzie Newsome told the Bernie Kosar show that talks with quarterback Lamar Jackson on a long-term deal will go until tomorrow's 4 Eastern deadline. If there's no deal by then, they'll use the franchise tag on Jackson.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. At Progressive, they're making things even easier to help you bundle your home and car insurance together so you can save on both. Learn more at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
The average time a resume spends on an HR manager's desk is 7 seconds, and most of them are tossed aside. Now imagine if one of those resumes belonged to Yasmin, who was
living in a shelter, juggling 3 jobs. I had to be resilient. That's something that you can't teach.
Or if that resume was from someone who
worked 12-hour shifts at the recycling company with my dad, who's 72. That taught me a work ethic that I carry with me every day.
We rely so much on a resume, yet it could never tell the full story of someone.
Growing up where I did, a lot of things could have gotten in the way of my goals. But I learned to push through, and that's what I bring to work every day.
So maybe it's time we look beyond the resume and look to Grads of Life. Discover new ways to develop great talent that are so much more than what's on paper at gradsoflife.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Grads of Life and the Ad Council.
Hello, it's me, the designer jeans in your closet, the back of your closet. What am I doing here? Would you keep caviar in the back of your fridge with the ketchup and old milk? Yeah, I don't think so. So what happened to us? I mean, have you seen my label? I used to summer in the Hamptons, and now I'm stuck behind a pair of sweats. Sure, I never really fit you quite right, and one of my pockets is so small you can't even squeeze your hand into it. But it's all about the look, and I look good. I need to get back out on the scene so I can be seen. You know, going to fancy parties, getting expensive iced coffees, Sunday fun days, okay? So take me to Goodwill, where I can really make a difference.
Your donations to Goodwill create new jobs, training programs, and education assistance for people in your community. To find your nearest donation center, go to goodwill.org. Donate stuff, create jobs. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
The average time a resume spends on an HR manager's desk is 7 seconds, and most of them are tossed aside. Now imagine if one of those resumes belonged to Yasmin, who was
living in a shelter, juggling 3 jobs. I had to be resilient. That's something that you can't teach.
or if that resume was from someone who
Worked 12-hour shifts at the recycling company with my dad, who's 72. That taught me a work ethic that I carry with me every day.
we rely so much on a resume, yet it could never tell the full story of someone.
Growing up where I did, a lot of things could have gotten in the way of my goals. But I learned to push through, and that's what I bring to work every day.
So maybe it's time we look beyond the resume and look to grads of life. Discover new ways to develop great talent that are so much more than what's on paper at gradsoflife.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Grads of Life and the Ad Council.
I wasn't prepared to be a caregiver to Mom, but a little over a year ago, we realized she couldn't take care of herself without our help. And well, how could I not be there for her? I had no idea how hard it would be, and just what I would need to know. Things I never thought of, like how to improve her mood and, even for me, ways to stay positive. Luckily, I found the Caregiving Resource Center from AARP. It had articles about the basics that got me started, but also information about the hurdles I was facing in this new role. I could even connect with experts and hear from others who had been in my place. I know this road we're on isn't an easy one, but I'm really happy to have the extra help for her and for me.
Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving. Articles, tips, and tools to help you both care for your loved one and care for yourself. This message is brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Juice, Mom. Juice, juice, juice. Mommy, why are we going to the store? Mom, I want juice. Mom, juice, juice, juice. Mommy, juice, juice, Mom. Juice, juice.
Your child will have different needs at different stages of life, and that includes the car seat. That's right, the car seat. A car seat isn't one size fits all. You have to have the right seat based on your child's age, weight, and height. See, car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. But there's a website that gives you all the information you need. safercar.gov/the-right-seat. You'll find out about types of seats, when to have a seat rear-facing, when to switch it to forward-facing, when it's time for a booster seat, and when it's time for your child to ride in the back seat with a seatbelt. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. Go to safercar.gov/the-right-seat. That's safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Here we go on a Monday. Little bit of a delayed start, but that's okay. It's all right. Overtime with Kurtz and Middleton here on ESPN 690. And, oh boy, a lot of moving parts. I don't think people understand the amount of moving parts that happen in order to get this show on the road. How many people have to do things in a short period of time in order for us to start at 6:07 in 28 seconds, 29, 30, 31. Anyway, overtime with Kurtz and Middleton here on ESPN 690. You hear my voice, so you already know what's up. Somebody decided not to come to work, and it started last week. Casey's not in the building. Casey's enjoying his anniversary. If you're still listening from Brent Friends, first of all, thank you. Number two, they probably already told you that when you only saw Brent Martineau and Aaron Schachter. But as always, when Casey is not at work, when he is, doing other things that he would rather do than come here and put in the work and the hustle in order to get to a higher level, I bring in reinforcements. I bring in people who I think could actually do a little something in the business. You feel what I'm saying? Okay. And so I have in studio Courtney Benton, Marcus Wilson.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I hear Marcus. Courtney, you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, there we go. Let me bump you up just a little bit. And, of course, you see them if you're on the stream. If you've been listening over the past couple of months, but even as recently as a couple of weeks ago, you know these two. You love these two, and I appreciate them carving out some time and being able to hop onto the show with me for today, and I believe tomorrow as well. And so, guys, you had a good weekend? Everything good? Everything okay? Y'all do anything special?
Nah, just watch that John Jones fight. Other than that, nah.
Okay. So then after the 3 minutes, what'd you do?
Go
Learn
to
some
sleep.
Spanish? Yeah, I'm about to say,
I don't
man.
know why the UFC fight is like 12 o'clock at night. Like, I mean, the main card, the actual main fight is after midnight, man. I'm I'm in my 30s right now, man. I be
Sleep by 11.
right.
10.
Got to put an alarm on just to wake back up for the main fight.
Now,
Anyway,
now 10 o'clock sleep ain't no joke, though, man.
Yeah.
You get that 10 o'clock sleep on the weekend? On the weekend? Boy, you be feeling recharged.
Yeah.
Till Monday at 6 a.m. Till you
Facts.
wake up at 6 a.m. on Monday. Then you like, where did it all go? Anyway.
Tragic.
Yeah, I had a pretty good weekend, too. I went and saw Creed 3.
Okay.
Part 3.
Okay.
How was it?
And no, it's good. There was a lot of, internet directors and people, who will never be able to touch a movie studio and who had a lot of opinions about certain things in the movie.
The
I thought it all
Rottens and
worked.
tomatoes.
Yeah, the Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow.
I thought it all worked. I even liked the part, I'm not spoiling this, well, maybe I am for somebody, but I won't tell you how it goes.
Don't spoil it.
Well, no, there's a part where the crowd disappears, and I thought it worked. I got the symbolism for that whole, I don't know, it's like a 2 or 3 minute period during the fight.
I probably know what you're talking. I haven't seen it, but I could just envision what you're talking about, so I get it too.
Yeah, and so it works. It works, but you got people, everybody gets a platform, everybody gets to say whatever they feel like, and that's cool. It's America, so, cool. One thing I do have a problem with, and I understand now why I enjoy streaming services so much. So I went full official on going to the movies because I haven't been to the movies in years. I haven't been to the movies since, they, made everybody stay home for a long time. And, I'm going to move past that because I said they and I've already said too much.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, I'm going to go to the movie theater to see this. I'm going to watch this. It's a Sunday matinee, after the church service. No one's going to be there.
Uh-huh.
Church service I go to, they start on time and they get done. they done with it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I almost said a comment. You ain't go to my kind of church.
I know I didn't go. Not
Okay.
on Sunday. And so I went and I got to an 11 a.m. showing. You hear what I'm saying?
That's
That's
early.
how on time
That's
the church
early.
service I went to, they get on time, they get in, they get out.
10:58.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
First of all, they give you 30 minutes of commercials. Now, I remember the movie theater, guys. And I remember you get previews, but you get ads before the preview. Like, you get there real early. They'll be running something because you don't want to just sit there with your popcorn, your candy, whoever you might be going with or the group you may be going with. And you know what I mean? And then maybe your phone. But it was they started playing commercials at 11. They started doing previews at around 11, 17. I was looking at my phone the whole time because I was like, this is a long time to be doing this. They had game shows and whatnot. 11:35 is when the lights really went down and the movie started. That was the first problem. Second problem, I pre-purchased my seat all the way in the back, not in a plum area at all.
Someone took your seat?
Off center. No. I got there. I sat down. I was the first one in there.
You probably got closed in.
No, okay, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
But
you
here's
got
the
closed in.
problem. Here's the problem. There were so many more seats on the back seat. Dude comes up, is like, J7, yeah, that's my seat right there. And I had, my popcorn over there because I was just like, who in their right mind would purchase a seat and sit right there? You know what I mean? Because he said the exact number, so I know that he pre-purchased his seat too.
Yeah.
And I was just looking like, this is weird. This is weird. And it could have been a woman. It could have been a man. It ain't that. It was just like, all these seats in here, all in here, this what we doing? That was the first problem. Second problem, group of 4 come in, and they somehow purchased the other 4 seats that are right next to me. So I was closed in. Marcus, you got it right.
I told you, I know.
Here's the final problem, because I almost got up, right? But then I was like, no, I'm going to make it uncomfortable for them too. If they're not uncomfortable, I'm not going to be uncomfortable. Even though I was like, man, dude on my right mumbled. Now, he had his mask on, so I couldn't hear what he was saying, but he was mumbling the entire movie.
Oh,
the entire movie. And at that point, I was like, okay, I might need to watch him because I don't know. I just want to make sure he's just talking to himself. Like, it ain't gonna be like everybody in the channel lay down.
He's incoherent.
Yeah. Dude on my left was clearly, he was with a group. I think he was with his girl. I think that was the one next to him, the way he was like leaned up, right? So I appreciated the fact that he was leaned up, not next to me, but on him. He was laughing at everything. Now, there's some funny parts in Creed 3. There's some funny parts, but there's some sad parts. Dude was just laughing. So I had a mumbler on one side, I had a giggler on another side, and I'm like, yo, what are we doing?
Oh, tragic.
What are we doing? Anyway.
But at least you enjoyed the movie.
The
so.
movie was good.
That's
movie
all
was
that
good.
matters.
The movie was good. I actually hope that somehow Jonathan Majors his role was Diamond Dame Anderson. I hope that he does find a way to be, if there's a Creed 4 or whatever the spinoff is going to be, I don't know, but the way that they kind of tied that up seems like, there's always a possibility. Anyway, I've talked too much about that. Please don't sit next to anybody in the theater if there's open seats, better seats, talking about, hey, that's J7. That's my seat right there. Like, man, don't get at your big age if you don't go somewhere.
Listen. If you on the stream or anything, you can see all three of us and everything. That's cool. But y'all gotta understand something. My man Brian Milson is not a short guy at all either. So the fact that you closing him in like that, man, your man needs some room to move, to maneuver. I told you like 6'7" or something like that.
Do all that.
How you
no leg
come
space.
On, right.
Window seat.
Right.
Well, here's the deal. The leg space at Tinseltown, when you get into that certain auditorium,
you
you got more than enough leg space. But it was just the fact that
crowded.
You can't open you're not gonna be able to open your legs. You gotta stay in the professional position.
I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have done that. Even if I was J7 and someone was sitting right there, and I'd be like, well,
you got it, dog.
I'm gonna give you at least a space, a seat. You know what I'm saying?
Courtesy seat.
It's like Marcus, I don't know how ladies do it, but Marcus, like when you go to the bathroom. Same deal.
Oh my goodness.
We just had this situation.
Oh,
Man code.
Really?
That's guy code 101.
Courtney, why? Never mind.
Yeah, no, I'm not even
How
going.
do y'all have that?
Well, no, I would.
Wait, don't tell me. Don't tell me. I'm trying to make sure I stay on, that we have overtime,
Yeah.
that you guys get a chance to come back on.
Yeah.
That's amazing, though. You just had that situation. Whoa.
Thank you for that knowledge.
But Marcus, you feel what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, that guy code, you got to get one over, man.
Give me a urinal. Man. Give me one space.
Come on, man.
You know?
Splash zone, man.
No, we didn't have that situation, Marcus. I'm sorry, guys. I was moving too fast.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Tell us in the
Lord.
break.
Yeah, tell me something.
In the break, if it passes the FCC test, I'll be like, this is what Courtney meant. Oh, boy. Anyway, I've taken up way too much time. Let's see if we can get this ready right here.
Right,
Here we go.
Right.
Oh, no, that's wrong. Somebody. So that was actually I don't know what that was.
That was
It was
the intro,
27
wasn't it?
minutes. Yeah, that's what it sounded like. So let's go ahead with the main news, the big news right now. We know Calvin Ridley
Okay.
officially reinstated in the league, and that was announced a couple of hours ago. Now, we all thought that was going to happen, but you never know until it actually happens.
Yeah.
Let's see. What does it say right here? The Jaguars PR sent this out. Courtney sent us something in the group text too. It says wide receiver Calvin Ridley was reinstated to the Jaguars' active roster. The NFL announced today he was acquired via trade by the Jaguars on November 1st. Ridley, 28, has 248 career receptions, 3,342 yards, and 28 touchdowns in 49 games spanning 4 seasons with the Falcons. Jaguars released a statement. They said the Jags organization is aware of the NFL's ruling to reinstate Calvin. We look forward to building a relationship with Calvin Ridley as both an individual and as a player.
Nice.
He is a proven playmaker, and we are excited to see him compete among and with his new teammates, first during the offseason and then ultimately into the new season as we collectively pursue a championship for Jacksonville. And then Calvin released a statement as well. His team did anyway. Today's reinstatement by the NFL brings an end to a challenging chapter of my professional career, one that was self-inflicted and began with an isolated lapse in judgment. I've always owned my mistakes, and this is no different. I have great respect for the game and am excited for the opportunity to restart my career in Jacksonville. I look forward to showing my new coaches, teammates, and entire Jaguars organization exactly who I am and what I represent as a player and person. Hey, that's all good, bro. I appreciate you, Calvin. Hey, great job by the team. Bro, I'm just, look, man, Hey, listen.
Don't let it happen again.
Please don't, right? Please don't.
Right.
Bro, we ready. Someone give me I'm afraid to play anything on my hotkey sound now because that was supposed to be a horn like that. And now it's something that's 27 minutes. I don't know what's going on there. But I tell you what, I got the Dion sound. I'm going to try it out in the break, and hopefully I can play it on the other end. But we coming. Huh? With the Louis bag.
Yeah.
That's what the Jags are doing. First of all, share your thoughts. I've been talking your ear off. You guys give me your thoughts on the Ridley reinstatement.
Man, it's what a time to be alive. He's finally back, and he's into a good situation. You got to think, like, this could be the best. This is the best situation for us for the simple fact that for the draft this year with wide receivers, it's not that good. And for us to get him for, a third round or fifth round pick? It's a third round. It could go up to, it depends on how he do. But just having him there, like, it's just excitement all over again. We get to put Christian Kirk in the inside. He get to be on the outside with Zay Jones and Evan Ingram. It's just like a perfect opportunity that he has came to. Like, I'm just excited to see how everything play out for Trevor and his new weapon.
So before I say my thoughts, I got another breaking news. Like last time it was kind of trash. It was Patrick Beverly, but I got actual breaking news that affects the NFL draft. It's kind of a radio tease on the other side, but Calvin Ridley, man, listen, just like the NFL talking heads was saying, he's going to do for 16 what my boy Diggs did for 17.
Take the top off.
So you're going to have to respect it. Now, we heard that he's still in shape. We heard that he's still doing what he's supposed to do. He's still, he's been itching to get back on the field. We know he had the mental health thing that he was going with, that he had took some time off, and then he had the whole thing that he was suspended for. So he ain't played about 2 years, almost 3 years. So we're looking to see, one, is he going to be in NFL shape? Okay, he's not going to be in game shape. He hasn't played games.
They say he's averaging around 22.5 miles as far as his conditioning. So he's in good condition right now.
Running, okay.
Yeah, he's running.
Okay, NFL Combine.
Right. When she started off with a Drake quote. Like, what a time to be alive. I was like, whoa. She's spitting bars out here.
Yeah.
But I swear, man, it makes us look so potent, man. Like she said, just kind of piggyback off her. Evan Ingram, Ridley, Zay Jones, Christian Kirk. And I know people forget about this guy, but you got a guy named Tim Jones. I guarantee he's going to be used a lot more next year. And then don't forget about that man, 39, Jamal Agnew. He also got speed out there. He's going on your end rounds. He's going on your speed options. He's going on your whatever that play is that Andy Reid stole from us in the Super Bowl twice. Yeah, twice. So we got so much talent out here. And when was the last time, Brian, that we can say that we had this much talent in Jacksonville?
That's fair. On the offensive side, you probably go even further back.
We're loaded right now.
Because I would say someone would argue, okay, if we're just talking about talent on a unit, our defense in 17
defense
is pretty good. But you make a great point, even going back further offensively.
Freddie T.
I'm about to say you start bringing up Mathis days with Donovan Darius and Henderson and Stroud on the defense.
But offensively though,
nah.
I think the only thing you can compare it to is
Jimmy Smith,
Jimmy and Keenan
McCardell,
Fred Taylor.
You start getting back there.
Mojo and
so this has a chance to really go. Just really, like you said, blow the top off of things. And I'll be a Debbie Downer in a second, but first let me just continue, hyping it up. So, the last time Calvin Ridley played, 2021, basically his season, 5 games played, 31 catches, 281 yards, 2 touchdowns. And I don't know exactly everything he was going through at that point in time, for even to have those stats right there in 5 games. 2020 is the year that you're like, okay, like this is what we think we could get, or if we can get this, some huge percentage of this from Calvin Ridley, maybe not even 100% of who he was in 2020, give me 80%. Let me give you a stats. 15 out of 16 games played.
Nice.
90 catches, 1,374 yards, 15.3 yards per catch, 9 touchdowns, had a long catch of 63 yards.
And he was 9th in the NFL that year with receivers too.
I can't wait.
Yeah, he was nice. I'm just
wait.
excited for this one.
So, let's bring it back down just for a second.
Mm-hmm.
So, just talking strictly about Calvin again, I'm glad, number one, he got reinstated. I'm glad that he and his team put out that as his response. I think there's certain things that you have to do. I would say something off the record. I'll just tell you guys in the break what I think about what he did. It's nothing like too bad at all, but I never want someone to come back in 2030 and pull this and be like, see, this is what he said. He agreed with it.
Yeah.
But the fact that he is at least, in that statement, it shows a level of continued maturity.
Yes.
And, knowing Calvin Ridley's story, how he grew up, things that happened, things he had to, persevere. Like, you know that anybody that gets to the NFL has a level of perseverance, whether you think they may have had a silver spoon in their mouth or whether they come from, they had how the kids used to say it back in 2020, they got it out the mud. I don't know if they say it like that anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They still say it.
Yeah.
Okay. Calvin, he has a level of perseverance. If you ever just look into his story growing up and what he had to go through. And, there's levels of maturity that everybody has to go through in order to get to, I think what people would say to a mature level just as a person. And it just feels from that statement, granted, he has a team. And, I'm not going to say he didn't come up with this statement himself, but this was well-crafted.
Yes.
And it's everything that the people who are investing millions of dollars into you would like to hear, The only thing that I'm going to say is, again, he hasn't played in a long time.
Yes.
And I know he's running 22 miles per hour, which is slow in a car, but is incredibly fast for a
For
human being.
yeah.
Okay? So give him some time. I tell Casey, and not like he was, saying, oh, he has to be great, from the first snap in the offseason. But I'm like, you might want to give him at least half a season just to kind of get his feet wet. I'm not even talking about really, producing, like get his feet wet again.
Yeah.
And really just be like, all right, I can start to feel that I'm back in the flow. And I know he's 28, so I can't just be like, yo, you might have to give him another season, then give it back to him and then start expecting things. But I think that he is going to, do well here because even though you can look at him as a potential number one, we got a number one receiver. No one's can tell me different. I haven't moved off of that. Christian Kirk is our number one.
Okay.
And I know people have
Respect.
And I know people have felt, differently about that. Maybe some in the studio, the way that Courtney face twisted up. Remember that, Christian? All right, and I'll pull a string if I ever meet you in person and she's trying to front, be like, no.
Yeah.
No. Let me in first, because she twisted her face up when I said that.
Mm-hmm.
Christian Kirk is our number one. And I just think that the pressure is not going to be there. Maybe if he went back to Atlanta and they're just like, hey, we know what you can do here. You're our number one. Because Atlanta, even though 7-10, it's not the greatest thing out right now. Whereas the Jags, all the weapons that both of you have named, the pressure is spread out. It's mostly, Trevor's going to bear the brunt, but when you start talking about the receiving core, Evan Ingram, Etienne in the back, to a lesser degree, Jermichael Hasty, like there are different pieces here that are going to be able to share that pressure, and I think he's going to be able to work himself in.
I agree. Completely agree.
Dangerous offense.
Exciting to see. Well, I'll tell you what, man. I think my Creed rant went too long. And so I wanted to touch on another, big headline that hit up for the Jags in this A block, but we're going to have to hold over into the B block before we get into another offseason move that happened officially today for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we'll get into that. But right now we have overtime with Kurtz and Middleton minus the Kurtz. Instead, we have Courtney Benton and Marcus Wilson joining me in studio. We will talk about that next move that the Jags had that came out today officially when we come back on overtime here on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690. Fair to partly cloudy skies and mild tonight with some fog late as temperatures drop into the low 60s. A very warm Tuesday with record or near record highs in the mid to upper 80s. For the CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jack's First Alert Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds. Now get 0% interest for 5 years with nothing down.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel V Pro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours.
Spilled your milkshake? Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up spills quicker. And each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less than the leading Ordinary brand. So you can get back to your milkshake.
My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel V Pro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
As the stock market slumps and instability this year got you concerned, would you like a way that could protect your retirement when the markets are down? Gold Alliance would like to give you 2 free reports, the Inflation Survival Plan and the Stock Market Correction Plan. Both give actionable insights you can use now that could protect your savings in uncertain times. Absolutely free. Don't wait. Call 800-200-2079. 800-200-2079. 800-200-2079.
All investments involve risk, including losses. Past performance does not guarantee future results.
Football season in the rear view. It's golfing season now. The countdown to the players is on. Before you watch, make sure you play. And don't play golf in Jacksonville without the Dream 18 card. Save on greens fees on some of the best golf courses in the area. Golf Club at Southampton, St. John's Golf and Country Club, Hidden Hills, Osprey Cove, The Yards, Amelia River Club, Eagle Landing, Fleming Island Golf Club, and Queens Harbor Yacht and Country Club. Buy it now for just $69 and save hundreds of dollars at Action Sports Jacks. Dream18.com. I'll see you on the golf course.
Hey, this is Bruce.
And I'm Carrie.
We're the owners of Koala Insulation. It's a great time of year to invest in energy-efficient improvements to your home. With our competitive rates and new tax credits for insulation upgrades, you can get huge savings to improve your insulation today and see long-term savings every month going forward.
Give us a call and set up your free evaluation at 679-6282 or find us online at koalainsulation.com.
Ground-shaking forces return to Gainesville Raceway for the NHRA season opener this weekend with rising stars.
Tony Stewart Racing has entered the history books
and racing legends.
John Forrest collects his 155th career victory.
Don't miss this action-packed weekend. Kids 12 and under are free. Get your tickets today at NHRA.com for the Amalie Motor Oil NHRA Gator Nationals this weekend at Gainesville Raceway.
Listen to ESPN 690 anytime, anywhere, on any device. Whether you're at home or on the go, get the latest on the Jags, FSU, the Jumbo Shrimp, and Action Sports Jacks on Odyssey.com. That's AUDACY.com or on ESPN690.com.
Welcome back to Overtime here on ESPN 690. Brian Middleton, Marcus Wilson, Courtney Benton. Okay, all right. I see it, man. Twins. I see it. Twins.
Don't start.
Oh boy.
I know you know where I get that from, man.
Oh boy. Where was I going to go with that? Anyway, welcome back. Casey Kurtz is on vacation, and that's why you have the pleasure of hearing Marcus and Courtney on the show with me today. So, we left the last segment hyped over Calvin Ridley, and there was some more news that came out about the Jags and some of their offseason moves for a very big player that we will talk about in just a moment. I just want to stress to you that we have a lot of local coverage here on ESPN 690. You got Brent and Friends from 3 to 6 p.m. You have Overtime with Kurtz and Middleton 6 to 7. And we have a new show called No Gate Fees. No Gate Fees, starring television's Brent Martineau. And normally it'll be Casey because he's the other baseball guy. This is about, I believe, high school baseball. If you like it, if you know about the talent in and around the listening area, you know that we have a bunch here. And Brent Martineau wants to shine a spotlight on that, much like how he does on the Friday night high school show, and he does a great job with that as well. I will be helping Brent out. I hope he knows the extent of my baseball knowledge is not great. And so, don't throw to me. Nah, he's not. He has a lot of guests. He has some more of the, I believe, the committed to the uncommitted, and a lot of good stuff. So stay tuned for that. That comes on at 7 p.m. right after this show, and that will last through 8. And then we have the FSU Coaches Show from 8 to 9. So a lot of good stuff here. We were talking about the Jags, but before we do, Marcus wants to break something. Marcus, is there something else happening in free agency?
Yes, sir. Actually, like I said before the break, to kind of tease it a little bit, to affect the NFL draft, the Seahawks and Pro Bowl QB Geno Smith reached agreement on a 3-year, $105 million contract, including $52 million in the first year, per Schultz reported. And that came in around 6:17 when we were in our first segment. So the reason why I say it affects the NFL draft is because the Seahawks was one of the teams that was going to draft Anthony Richardson. Mm-hmm. But after this contract, there's no way they're going to draft Anthony Richardson with their pick.
Man, Geno said,
tell them to bring me my money.
Right. And do it quick. Stop playing with me, okay? And I need to be able to count them, all right? Just put it right here, okay? I'm going to weigh it out.
I need it.
Y'all don't know about that, though. When there's so much money you got weighed out, that's how I tell you don't know about that.
I ain't never seen that much.
Good for Geno.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Good for him.
He worked hard. He earned
comeback
that.
player.
Mm-hmm. And it's I think it's a good match, at least for, how long was the contract length again?
3 years?
3 years.
Yeah. I think that's good. Because Geno's like 32.
Yeah.
So, 3 years. And if Geno shows out again or maybe even improves his play, I mean, who knows what can happen, but didn't see that one coming. Didn't see last season coming for Geno, and another guy who bet on himself and really performed probably to the level that he knew, but most people would be like, wow, he outperformed what most of us thought he was going to do. We thought it was going to be a rebuild. They got rid of Russell Wilson, and Pete Carroll's like, nah, I got this. And Geno was like, yeah, I got this too. So, good for him, happy for him. And speaking of another guy who bet on himself and cut up last season,
right?
Jacksonville Jaguar, at least for one more season, Evan Ingram.
Uh-huh.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Evan Ingram said, you know what?
Top 5.
I just didn't like the cold in New York. I just didn't like the bitter cold. I'm paraphrasing, and that's not what he said. I'm just, I'm going on a tangent real quick. The Jags do franchise tag Evan Ingram today for a little over $11 million. It's like 10 million dollars, something like that. But that's a lot of money. Like, don't get it twisted. Franchise tag me for 1 year, Jags. I can't give you the production, but definitely probably not the most ideal outcome right now for Evan Ingram in his mindset, because that 1 year of $11 million is guaranteed, but he's looking for a longer term contract. But I think that's what's going to happen. It's just a matter of, let's get you in, okay? We still talking. We here.
Yeah.
Look, we here. We gonna take care of you, okay?
Got time.
But we gonna go ahead and franchise tag you. We ain't gonna do you like how Baltimore does Lamar. Like, no, we ain't doing that. Ooh. We gonna get this settled right now. I promise you.
Ooh.
So that's a good sign, in my opinion, as a fan. Again, I'm not speaking from the player's perspective, because he would much rather a 5-year whatever tight ends are getting paid. That's not Travis Kelce. So what do you guys think about the fact that the Jags franchise tagged Evan Ingram?
I think it was a good move. basically we have to keep him. He's an important part of the offense and one of the main reasons why Trevor was so comfortable. So I really think that was a good move for us. I know on his side he might not feel so good about it because I know he was making comments about him making $11 million, 11 to 15 for the tight ends and the wide receivers. Third screen's making around 15 to 20 million basically on tags. So I know he's pretty upset about it, but last year it was a great year. This year is guaranteed. I mean, if he come in and produce like he usually did from last season, he's destined for a big payday. So I think it's really good because we're keeping him. We know he's going to be here next season, so I'm just excited.
You look at it from a perspective of we want to make sure you stay here.
Stay here, yeah. You're not going because he was already saying his top 3 list.
Right.
If you remember, he would say actually, and he kind of wanted to go back to the Giants. They were number 3 on his list. He had Kansas City, he had Cincinnati, and he had the Giants. So we had matter of fact, that same day we made the franchise tag. I think when they brought that video out of the top 3 teams, we locked them down then. So hey,
they were like, nah, bro.
You're not going anywhere.
Yeah, you got to play the game. I'm not mad on either side. Put a list of 3 teams on there and don't put the Jags on there. See, listen, because we already got them on tape, after that, the tough loss against Kansas City. And it was an emotional moment. I encourage anybody who didn't see that, man, go to the Action Sports Jax's YouTube page and you'll have to scroll back a little bit to the post game after the Kansas City loss. But that interview with Evan Ingram, there was a lot of emotion there. Yeah. There was a lot of emotion there, and he talked a bit about being in the right place and God put him in the right situation. Yeah. Again, I'm paraphrasing. I don't want to put words all in his mouth, but he was emotional, and he seemed at the time, and really at no point during the offseason has he seemed like he does not want to be here.
Right.
But if you got to put a top 3 list out there, and that contract ain't there yet, hey, now I ain't got your name on there. Now what we gonna do? Call my lawyer.
Lock you down.
Yeah,
You're locked in now.
I'm not mad at that.
Don't be scared now.
You feel me? So let me ask you this: now that we know that Calvin Ridley is reinstated on the team, boom. Now that we know that at least for another season, Evan Ingram is here, does this change anything about the Jags draft? Maybe in the first couple of picks. In your mind, do you think that the Jags were going to go, defense regardless? Because I know tight end and a couple of mock drafts before the combine had tight end in a lot of them. But do you think that this changes, these 2 moves right here with Ridley and Ingram, changes the Jags' perspective on what they're doing draft-wise?
Yeah, I really do think it changed it because now – of course, we need another corner. I think we were going to go there anyway. But as far as it makes a huge difference for our offensive line.
Yes.
Because by Evan Ingram getting that tag, Jawan Taylor is not going to get it. So, and I don't think we're going to pay him what he's out for a big market. I think he might be around 18 to 19 million a year. If you look at it, the way the offensive line and the market's going. So I think he's going to get a big payday somewhere else. I just don't think we're going to sign him. So I think that'll look a little different for us because we're going to be looking for an offensive lineman, of course, which is we're successful with the linemen in the draft because look at Little.
Yeah, we got Little.
We had some success there. So I think it's going to be a little different now with the corners, and then we'll go linemen. Definitely, we need linemen.
We gonna draft the. What is it? BPA.
Best player available.
That's what it's going to be. And when you draft at the end of the draft where we at right now, that's the best place to be in. Now, we do have needs. We have corner, as you said, Courtney. We got corner. We do need corner. We're going to need depth on the offensive line because I don't believe, like you said, Jawan Taylor's going to be signed. But you know what? You never know because I'm not going to lie. Balky he been cooking, so since I'm going to let him cook for a little bit longer, he might be able to swing something. But
where the money gonna come?
I don't think Jawan Taylor gonna give us a hometown discount.
That's what I'm saying. Someone is gonna pay him some big money. Pay him.
So I mean, you could go Ringo from Georgia. If that tight end from Iowa, I can't think his name right now. If that tight end from Iowa was available, I would take him because I'm really big on him. I watch his stuff, but. like you said, could go offensive line, could go deep, could go edge, because we still got 41, and I'm going to leave it right there.
He's going to stay.
I'm going to leave it right there.
Yeah, because you know.
Don't start
Because what Marcus won't have is the same energy if Josh Allen walked up in here.
I said 41. See, we ain't even put no names out there.
I'm telling you right now. I'm telling anybody else who's still listening somehow, first of all, thank you. After my
19.
Rant.
I'm looking at 19 on YouTube. So.
And then number two, Marcus Wilson, like big hat, no cattle. That's what I learned out in Arizona. Messing with some of them ranches. Big hat, no cattle. Okay? A lot of talk. Josh Allen walk up in here, you be like, hey, man, can I get your autograph? Hey, man, let me take a picture.
I'm going to ask the race.
I'll be like, you groovy?
I'm going to ask the race him. I'm like, yo, can you beat me in the foot race? 41, what's up? I give your name back, you beat me in the foot race. I get mine for real, for real. Just give me 5 minutes of scratch, because I'm a little bit older than y'all.
Nah,
I'm older than y'all.
Let me stop. Moving on, because you disrespect Josh Allen.
Keep it going, Bree. You always do.
But you're going to have to see him one day. I can't wait till the three of us somehow, some way. You have to see him. And I ain't going to let it slide. But even if I do, Courtney going to be,
Definitely not letting it slide. You know that.
But you still got the Calvin Ridley thing. I mean, I'm sorry, the Christian Kirk thing on her. Remember like 10 minutes ago when I was like,
okay, well,
I was like,
that's
Christian
for
Kirk
this
is my number one.
season.
And she twisted her face up. So Marcus, don't you forget that.
I was thinking about Calvin Ridley.
She defended us.
I was thinking about Calvin Ridley, so.
That's fine.
And that's going into next season. We can have this conversation again next season.
So now she can do for you defense, because she's definitely ready to defend somebody right now.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I know. We might have to move it up.
We
might have to move it up. Oh,
y'all
man.
know that's not my. Y'all know that's my weakness. That show is just not for me, and
y'all will be all right.
I can't do it.
No, y'all will be all right. I promise. I'll try to sneak it in maybe tomorrow, because I don't think we're gonna get to the game today, and that it wasn't for your defense anyway. So,
yeah.
You know what? Because we are running up on another break, let's go ahead and take that right now. When we come back on Overtime here on ESPN 690, I tell you what, still some more football. A lot of football today. We had some more major news. Now, we talked about Geno Smith re-signing with his team, but another big name, or just as big as Geno Smith, he signed with his team, but not the team that he was with last season.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll talk about that on the other side of the break. Overtime with Kurtz and Middleton here on ESPN 690. Stay tuned.
When people ask how I do it all, the answer is simple. I don't, because some days I just can't. And on those days, I hit up McDonald's, sometimes even twice a day. Once for breakfast, like a buttery sausage biscuit or a savory sausage McMuffin. And I'll bundle either pick with hash browns for just $2.29. Then I'll be back later for either a melty McDouble or a bold hot and spicy McChicken. And bundle that with a small fries for just $3.29. Turns out you don't need to do it all to have it all. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal. Valid when product served.
No matter what I get, it's 20% off every day when I spend $1 on the McDonald's app. So yesterday was my please the whole fam on the way to the game meal. Today is my finally get them to stop asking, are we there yet meal. Who knows what tomorrow will be? Maybe a delicious crispy chicken sandwich all for myself meal. Whatever it is, it's a win. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Offer valid through December 31st, 2023 at participating McDonald's. Valid once a day. Excludes tax. McD app download and registration required.
Hey folks, Dave Benyon here with Zero Res. I'm here today with my son Ammon. Ammon is the air duct cleaning manager for Zero Res. So Ammon, many people ask, who should I hire to clean my air ducts?
Well, there's a few things to look for. First, does the company have an HVAC contractor's license? In the state of Florida, you must have this to legally clean air ducts. Second, is the technician properly trained? Zero Res technicians are trained and certified by the National Air Duct Cleaning Association. Third, what kind of system are they using? Zero Res uses the most powerful truck-mounted system in the industry that generates over 15,000 cubic feet per minute of air movement. Most companies use a portable unit at around 5,000 CFMs. That's a third the power of Zero Res. Cleaning air ducts is all about power.
So, are you running any deals?
This month, I'm giving $50 off the air duct cleaning, and if you mention WOKV, I'll give you another $50 off your dryer vent cleaning.
Wow, so I can get up to $100 off?
That's right.
Remember, folks, Zero Res,
spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
Anybody can win at Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino Tampa. One jackpot is paid out every minute on the hottest slot machines and table games. With over $2 billion in jackpots paid out in the last year, you could be the next lucky winner. Seminole Hard Rock Tampa has over 800 rooms and suites, a luxurious rock spa and salon, award-winning restaurants, and an exciting comedy and concert lineup, including pool parties with world-renowned artists. With a variety of gaming, dining, and entertainment options, anybody can win at Seminole Hard Rock Tampa.
Are you ready for a great deal? Do you have your heart set on a new Toyota? Then go to the Ready, Set, Go sales event happening now at Arlington Toyota. Of course, at Arlington, you get Ready, Set, Go deals and more, like 30 days to love your new purchase or exchange it. Plus, every new Toyota comes with Arlington's lifetime warranty. That's unlimited time and miles. But you better shop now before Ready, Set, Go is gone. Don't wait. Shop in person and online at arlingtontoyota.com today.
Guys, fellas, men, are you Roman ready for the weekend? Right now, generic Viagra, aka Sildenafil, is just $4 per dose at Roman. Just complete a free online visit with a U.S. licensed healthcare professional. If medication is appropriate, Roman sends what you need in discreet packaging with free 2-day shipping. Generic Viagra from $4 at Roman. Go to ro.co/Viagra. Do it today and get 20% off your entire first order. That's ro.co/Viagra.
The unimaginable became our new reality. Seeing that the world is starting to pick back up from where it was left in 2019, the chip shortage will be no more and manufacturers are going to start sending more cars, skyrocketing inventory. But cars won't be flying off the lots as speedy as they were before. So how often do you really put in the time and effort to continuously make your dealership's website more reliable and credible to your potential buyers? Cox Media Group has the capability to enhance and significantly improve your website's traffic. Let us help and answer any questions you have by heading to cmg.com to find out more.
Men, if you're struggling with erectile dysfunction or PE and frustrated taking pills that don't work, Prime Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough medical treatments that effectively treat your problem. 98% of patients experience immediate results during their first office visit. And for a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Rubinsky. The physicians at Prime Men's Medical Center offer the most advanced treatments that eliminate ED and PE. Now men are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
Guys, to eliminate your frustration in the bedroom, call Prime Men's Medical Center now to take advantage of this exclusive limited-time offer. Your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free, and you'll see instant results right in the office. Call now, 904-664-8214. 904-664-8214. That's 904-664-8214.
Welcome back to Overtime with Kurtz and Middleton here on ESPN 690. Final minute of the show. Marcus Wilson, Courtney Benton, Derek Carr. Just saying names all over the place. He is signing with the New Orleans Saints. He's signing with the New Orleans Saints.
Great move.
Gets out of the AFC and all those quarterbacks. Let me ask you this really quick. Does this make the New Orleans Saints contenders?
Absolutely. I look for them to win that division. They're in a division with Sam Darnold, Ryder at Atlanta. What's his name? Desmond Ritter.
Yeah.
Kyle Trask. Like, he's in a division. He's the best quarterback in that division. And not to mention, he has a top 10 defense. He finally has a defense now.
Okay. Marcus, yes or no? Contender?
No, not at all.
There we go.
Hater.
Short to the point. Here we go. Anyway, thanks, guys, for coming in.
Yes,
you guys
sir.
will be back tomorrow because Casey's last day out will be tomorrow. So we have another threesome here on Overtime with Kurtz and Middleton tomorrow. Coming up in a little under 8 minutes or so, we have No Gate Fees with Brent Martineau, High School Baseball Spotlight. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Thank you for joining us on Overtime here on ESPN 690. Have a good night.
I want to eat a spicy chicken in my Tesla. Is it too much to ask? This is a test of the emergency alert system.